But yeah, I'm definitely like, well, you see, I got a couple of cool kind of like games that are inspired by the Battle Network series, but I won't lie to you, the Battle Network like world and stuff in itself and characters are things that I'm pretty attached to. I like it a lot, so I'm happy to get to like play.
It's
So
it's like I'm trying to explain to people why I'm so excited. But like this is one of the few games that I played on Game Boy Advance. Like as a
Big in
child, as
Tokyo.
a
I wanna be
teenager, and
big in
then like even as a
Tokyo.
young adult, where I was
Big in
like,
Tokyo.
this story
I
like
wanna be
makes
big in
good
Tokyo.
sense, and it's
Big
like
in
dumbed
Tokyo.
down
I
for
wanna
where
be
like a
big in
child can
Tokyo.
understand it. But like
Big
as
in
you get
Tokyo.
older, like
I wanna be big
you can
in
appreciate it
Tokyo.
even more. Like
Drink
this
all
is
the
actually
sake
really
I
good.
want. Read all the manga I want.
Like in almost
Wear all
all
the
the
bait
games.
that I want. Buy all the J's that I want. Be with any
The
girl that
puzzles
I
are
want.
just challenging
Drive
enough
any
where you
car that
think
I
about it
want.
for a second
I'm
before you
always out of
complete
the
it.
country.
there
But
was
sorry
I
if I
always
ain't
remember
home.
this one.
If the money
With
ain't
the,
calling, I never answer my phone. You can see the flow in my chakra. All we smoke is homegrown. You know the boy
Yeah.
so
so
fucking
ramen. Proudly sipping on me, so
was
I know a spot that has shield. I got a spot
Bro, I
that
think that
has
was
deals. Wait till I get a kimono.
remember
I'ma
like,
swag
they
it out
gave
in
you,
my
like, a
dojo.
fucking-
Some girls
like,
are
it
asking
gives
for
you
a
like a
photo.
handle or
I
whatever.
guess this
And you
happens
gotta
in
put the
Kyoto.
handle
When
on
you
the
young, you're popping in Kyoto.
on the
I
fucking
ball with
like
all of
on
my
the
nakamas.
sink
I
thing
dance
or
with all of
the
my
tube where the water's coming out,
nakamas. I
but like
drink with
they
all
don't
of
tell
my
you you have to put that
nakamas,
shit
yeah.
on there. They just be like, oh, they just gave you a
I
handle,
only
like a
listen to
handle part, and you
call.
just gotta run
I
around and
touch
find
down
which
with
faucet
peace.
it is.
Hiro
Like, bro, what the
Isekai,
fuck?
Shinada Irekai. You are my enemy.
But
You
yeah,
are no
I'm
friend of
definitely
me.
super
You
hyped for
covered in
Battle Network,
jealousy.
man.
We only
That
drink
is my
Hennessy.
favorite Mega Man incarnation.
Big
I
in
don't
Tokyo.
fucking care
I
what
wanna
Mega
be
Man
big in
purists.
Tokyo.
Oh, it's X in the
Big in
classic. Like,
Tokyo.
I still
I
like
wanna
them.
be
The only
big
one I
in
don't like is
Tokyo.
Mega Man Legends because
Big
Mega Man
in
1 is a
Tokyo.
bitch.
I wanna
But
be
Mega
big
Man
in
dot
Tokyo.
.exe is
Big
the
in
one.
Tokyo.
I don't
wanna be
care.
big in Tokyo.
He's the GOAT.
When I
Pub
got money,
season.
you know it. When
Let
you
it
got
up,
money,
baby.
you blow it.
Growing up,
How might you
I was
caught
a
me a rollie?
teenager.
I'm
I
living
was
like
watching
Zach and
Rock
Cody.
Band X on
Sweet like from
Japanese
young in
and
the
shit.
OG. From young we learned
Like,
to
ooh,
maneuver.
this is
I
really
pick up
good.
a skirt in a
You
Uber.
know, it's
I
not
grew
that
up
much
with
different
killers and
from
shooters. No
the
tell,
English
but I think
dub.
I'm
Like
cooler.
obviously they
I used
localized
to
a couple
sleep with a
things, but this
deuce
is
deuce.
good.
I'm the moon
I see
god,
Proto
got the
Man.
juice juice.
They
You
call
switch your
that nigga
sides like the man
Booze.
Bruce.
I'm like, why
Tight
they call
circle,
him
cut the
Booze, but
loose
he red?
ends. No, I can go
I'm
on
confused.
vacation. You cannot escape from the matrix. I
Nigga
wrote
look
all
cool
this
though.
shit in the basement.
I think it's because
Art
like
is my
all
new
like aren't they all
occupation.
just named
Let's
after
meet up
like
at Kennedy Station.
songs? Like not songs,
I've been
but
at studio all
things that have
day.
to do with
I'd rather
music
just make it the hard way.
in the original,
Sitting back while I'm looking
like in
up.
the original
Remember backyards
series,
cooking
or
up.
original
I just wanna be
incarnations of
big.
it. Like Rock
Are
I
they?
wanna be big.
Yeah, Rock
Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in
Bass,
Tokyo.
Blues.
Big in Tokyo. I wanna be
Batman.
big in Tokyo.
I
Big in
don't think
Tokyo.
Batman is an
I wanna be
original
big in
like
Tokyo.
incarnation.
Big in Tokyo. I wanna be big in Tokyo. Drink all the sake I want. Read all the manga I want. Wear all the bait that I want. Buy all the J's that I want.
I
Be with
actually
any
don't
girl that I
know the
want.
other Japanese
Drive
names
any
for
car that
most
I
of them.
want.
Like I knew about Blues and
Drive any car that I want.
I'll have to look at the other ones and maybe try to make a connection myself. I'm not actually-
Oh, the rest of them are pretty much the same.
Okay.
But I'm like, I was so confused at that. Like that was bugging me for so long as a kid. I was like, the nigga is red, but they call him Blues. Why? Like,
Yeah, but I
I was like, why?
He's red. Why
I
you
just know
calling
that
him
Mega
Blues?
Man,
What's going
Bass,
on?
and Proto
You got
Man
so
all
many
have
questions.
music inspired names. But I don't remember. And like Mega Man's dog too. Was this, oh no, not his dog. His dog's name was Rush, right?
Yes.
Why she run from me? Now you wanna come back and now you love on me. But I'm confused why you think you deserve some trust from me. And your heart is
Yo,
beating
what's up?
girl, it's
Oh,
not
that's
good.
good.
Fuck your
What's up, man?
company. Why she run from me? Now you wanna come back and now you love on me. But I'm confused why you think you deserve some trust from me. And your heart is painted blood, girl, it's ugly. Fuck your company. And I remember the first time you had me in your hold. Now you corrupted the safe phone and will never know. Yeah, Vincent that is darkness, watch all his friends turn the phone. Yeah, tried to troubleshoot me, but
I
I
said
cannot
that
be
wrong
strong.
all
Trying to
this
sell
time.
me
But
a dream,
just real
tryna
quick,
sell
I
me
didn't.
a
We didn't see
Tell me a lie, do you think I'm a joke?
thing in there, right? There was no Geo and Star Force, right? It was just a Battle Network, right?
Yeah, it was just Battle Network.
And I'm
Oh,
totally
Battle
okay
Network,
with
I'm
that.
I'm gonna start the campaign for Star Force after Battle Network drops.
Yeah. I'm gonna get through it again. You know what I'm saying? Play it, and then after, then we'll talk. We'll talk about that later.
I've never played Star Force, so
I beat all three in I think the same year actually, but I'm not as high on them as I am the Battle Network series. I just don't like. But I don't hate them. But
I like them a lot, but yeah, they're not
yeah.
better than Battle Network IMO. I said IMO like what the fuck?
especially 5 and 6. Oh man.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yes. Once 6 added those the cross system, shit was over.
Oof.
The Beast Cross go crazy, man. Especially when you combine it with a double soul. Oh my god.
And if you have some of the put the straw hat on ones and like you got the double versions of stuff where you have to particularly pick certain of those games with the specific versions, it was crazy. It was crazy what you could do.
So. I remember like my friend when my friend had like all like cause you can mix souls by mixing games or whatever. My friend had like every soul that was available in Mega Man 4, and I only had the ones that came in like Red Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, what the fuck? This isn't fair.
Yeah. But all right. Well, we'll continue our Mega Man talk later. It's time for One Piece. I mean, we're still on break, so I thought, why don't I launch a podcast that I've been thinking about doing for a while, talking about a lot of the talking points and subject matter I think the community would be interested in hearing, not just talking about what if, man, and all that stuff. And we're gonna do that today. We're launching what I'm calling the Baroque Works broadcast. We're starting today with the pilot episode. We're testing the waters. We'll see how it goes. If you guys enjoy it, we'll keep it going. But how y'all boys doing?
Good, man. Good. I mean, you boys know it's Canada Day tomorrow. I'm already hearing fireworks and stuff. This is a great long weekend, man. I'm feeling good even without a One Piece chapter, you know?
I won't even lie to you. Canada's Day has always been hard for me to. This is just like deep Nile lore. Like my grandfather passed away the same day as Canada's Day, so it's always been a hard day for me to enjoy. So
shit, that sucks.
So, man. but I feel it. What you Pat and Al, how y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Got paid early today. July 4th around the corner.
That's what I'm talking about. What about you, Alan?
Doing good, man.
All right. But all right, we got, I think 6 topics. I put for this episode. We'll see how they go. They kind of range from like specific things to more general stuff and community things. So we'll always kind of keep it fresh, but not always just focus on the little specific content. But the first topic that I actually wanted to start with today is speaking about the best leaders and captains that we've seen in One Piece, and what does good leadership look like in this specific narrative to you guys. So when it comes to like One Piece, like I use captains, but it could be like a Marine troop leader. It could be like a fleet admiral, whatever. Like, what do you think makes a good leader in One Piece, in your guys' estimation? And then give me some leaders you think are good and why.
Okay. Well, seeing as everybody is jumping at the chance to go, I'll go first. I think a good leader is someone who recognizes the limits of his capabilities, but at the same time does not infringe upon what makes his crewmates special. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think of, obviously, Luffy, of course, where, like, when he's fighting Arlong, he's like, bro, I can't read a map. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to use swords. I can't lie. I can't cook. But the one thing I'm confident in is that I can whoop your ass.
Yes, sir.
And it's one of those things where it's like he knows that in order for him to achieve his dream, he needs help along the way. And at the same time, he recognizes that the people in his crew are not just tools at his disposal to reach his dream. They also have dreams, goals, and aspirations of their own.
Okay.
And in order for him to protect their dream, he has to be able to be somebody that can defend all his friends at the same time whenever they're in danger. I think that's really good. Another thing that makes a good leader is being able to inspire people, which I think Whitebeard is the best example of that.
Okay.
That's on my list, Whitebeard. Yeah.
Because during Marineford, when Akainu tricked Squad and he had him stab Whitebeard before the fighting even started, I'm thinking to myself, Squad, you're about to get folded. You're an idiot. And then what he does was just so left field to me. He got down on his knees, hugged him, apologized for not being somebody that he could have unwavering faith and loyalty to, for being so easily tricked, and rallied the troops. Like, that was the turning point of Marineford for me. I was like, bro, he really
Stephen A.
just
Smith,
turned
you gotta
the whole
gotta galvanize the troops.
Like,
No,
he
man,
just
Pat's
turned the
not
whole
wrong.
situation
Whitebeard,
around.
he did that thing, and Pat's not wrong. Like, that was sort of the turning point right there, because you could expect, it's like, oh, how could my son betray me, or something like that. Most narratives would not have gone the direction of hugging him. I still love you. Like that was different.
Yeah.
I would argue. So what would you say to someone who would argue that that's soft? Like, it makes you look bad as a captain if your own subordinate attacks you that way and you don't discipline them. What would you say to someone who has that opinion?
You know
They're
what?
unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Say that again.
I'd say they're unfamiliar with the relationship and like what they're seeing. Because
Okay.
like in the same sense, you could say the same about the Straw Hats when they slapped Luffy upside his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that.
technically-
I've heard people complain about Nami always abusing him. I actually have heard that. I've seen that. I'm not joking.
But I'm
I have
going
to.
actually. I'll go a step further, because technically, Water 7 Enemies Lobby, one of the most beloved double arcs in the series, is all about getting one crewmate back that technically does not matter. As far as Luffy, the captain, is concerned, he doesn't give a fuck about the poneglyphs. He doesn't care about her knowledge and all that bullshit. So technically, he's going out of his way to make enemies, start a fight that was the limit at the time the Straw Hats could do, and we saw him like get beaten back pretty hardcore. It's no different than Alabasta fighting against Crocodile and stuff. Luffy goes out of his way for one person at the cost of potentially many. Like, Whitebeard is doing the same thing.
Okay. So, I actually definitely think Whitebeard's a great pick. I have a little bit of pushback with Luffy. Not that I disagree with what you said, Pat, but what do you think about people who say that he doesn't actually give the orders like that? Like, I think when it matters most, he has his moments, but they're like, oh, like, people just kind of run around, do what they want, and Nami, quote unquote, runs the crew. What would you say to somebody who has that opinion?
There's different forms. Oh, go ahead, Alan.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I agree that like in the conventional sense, or like what you would assume like standard leader, Luffy isn't that. So I could agree when people say that, like, he doesn't give off that feel, give off that vibe. But that again just comes back to like just saying that they're unfamiliar, or like you can take Zoro's quote in Alabasta, for example, when he told Chopper, like, oh, people say we don't have teamwork and that type of stuff, but it's just because we all trust each other to be able to do what needs to be done. And so it's not really that Luffy isn't a good leader, or like, well, he's not the like a standard type of leader. So I agree with that. I understand that, but I don't think it's, I don't know what's the word I'm trying to say. I don't think it's like, I'll come back. I'm sorry, I'm losing it.
No, Luffy has learned, because of, like, Luffy is not actually on my list. When Naya sent me this list, and I was like thinking about, okay, who's actually the best leaders? Like, not the best characters, not the strongest. Who's the best leaders? And honestly, I had a tie for Zoro and Nami over Luffy.
Interesting.
At least on the Straw Hat crew, because Nami actually deals with all the day-to-day bullshit realistically, which you could argue that's just doing chores, that's just following orders. But how does a military work? How does a crew work? By following fucking orders. Without a strong, like, hierarchy, the thing's just going to be a mess, and they're going to end up dead in the Grand Line. And that was explained many, many times in the arcs in the East Blue. So you have Nami, and then you also have Zoro. Remember, Luffy has maybe learned from his mistakes to be a better leader, and I don't disagree with Pat in the Arlong Park arc, where he's like, yeah, Luffy is actually more self-aware than we like to sometimes give him credit for. I can't do this, I can't do that, blah blah blah. That's why I hire people. That's why I bring a crew together. But at the same time, Zoro has had to step in twice to basically say, Luffy, you're out of fucking line, bud. This is the way it is to be a captain. This is the job of a leader. And Zoro actually knows better, I think, than Luffy, at least pre-time skip, what it is to be a captain, what it is to be a leader. And he might be lazy and stuff like that, but Zoro's more of a... It was an excellent choice for a first mate sort of idea. That's why I put Zoro and Nami on my list, not Luffy, because of the pushback that you were talking about, Naya.
Okay. Now, quite a reason that I asked that is because I think that depending on who you ask, they'll tell you that Luffy's a really incompetent and bad leader. But like, I'm of two minds here. So like, I'm actually gonna use the Bozo Togashi as an example here, where people are of two minds of Ging. That they're like, he's actually a quote unquote great father because he has unwavering faith in God that he will overcome any challenge, even if he puts like an insurmountable wall in front of him, like the dodgeball game of those criminals, whatever the fucking Reed Island. And conversely, he's like, but he's not around. You hear what I'm saying? So there's like those two different those people are different, two different minds on that. So I just want to gauge what other people are saying. Like, because for my answer, right, like I could tell you what a good leader is. Obviously, like I know what a good leader is, but I think when it comes to One Piece, you have to consider the crew's dynamic and the interpersonal relationships that the characters have. So there are some there's some captains who run their ship with like a standard like hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? What I say goes. If you disagree, you're not, or like you don't listen, you're done, or you get punished. But like Whitebeard's crew is a crew of family. It's not that Whitebeard's not in charge, but they're equal but not equal, but they're equal. But like they're all family. You know, and then with Luffy, they're his friends. He doesn't treat them like underlings, so to speak, or subordinates. He treats them like his friends. And I think you have to take that into consideration when you're kind of analyzing the different leaders in One Piece. So by that logic, I don't think Luffy's a bad leader. I wouldn't say he's the best leader in One Piece, but he's not a bad leader because I understand the crew interpersonal relationship and dynamic, and I understand why it's run the way that it does. And ultimately, for better or for worse, it's worked. Though some people would argue that him having unwavering faith that like Zoro and Sanji can get shit done is overconfidence. But at the end of the day, he's usually proven to be right. So I guess it just depends on your perspective.
Well, it's actually funny because on my list I would argue 3 different methods of leadership, and not like, because when we talk about leadership, just because Luffy and Whitebeard are similar and they run a crew similar and that works, doesn't mean it's the only effective.
The only way to do it. I agree.
For example, Akainu, I mean, he's running the Marines the way a fucking Navy Admiral, a leader of the Marines should run a section of the military. He's like, our job is to go bring order to the seas and capture pirates. He's been successful doing so. There's not a bad... It's a military operation. He's saying, I'm top dog, and I tell the admirals what to do. The admirals tell the vice admiral what to do, etc., etc. He's using it as a chain of command. That's not bad. Crocodile, once again, Crocodile's idea was actually 3D chess. When he was like, I'm going to form this great organization, and no one's going to know my identity. I'm going to run this shit because I'm fucking Mr. Zero. I'm still going to get all the, not all the flack from if this goes south. I mean, it did. I mean, we know what happened, but the idea was, regardless what happens to Baroque Works, if that fails, who cares? Mr. Zero, nobody knows who I am. And like that's actually, and that worked well because everyone was kept in line. Baroque Works was actually a kind of a well-run organization, and then
there was a lot of secrets kept too within it, and it still ran effectively.
That's right. And then you have the final one we were talking about, Luffy Whitebeard, but I would also argue Big Mom. And I think that Big Mom and Whitebeard... See, Whitebeard's a much better leader because he learned from the mistakes. Remember what he said in the flashback, in the Odin flashback. He said, I've seen what happens when too many strong-willed people get together. That shit doesn't last. He saw the mistakes of the Rock's crew. It sounds ideal. if anybody's going to make, I'm going to have the strongest crew, make your own One Piece crew. Bringing together all the strongest characters is not a good idea, and
Chemistry
Oda told
matters,
us that
yeah.
in the story.
There's chemistry
So
too.
Whitebeard learned from that mistake, from Rox's mistake, and moved on. Big Mom did the same thing. Big Mom literally kept it all in the family to say they all respect me as their mother, So, I mean, like, there's different methods, I think, of leadership, and there's not one, I guess, one true version. They can all be strengths and weaknesses.
I think Croc wasn't really all that good at keeping everything cohesive. I think there were some big holes in his organization. I don't disagree with that. I still think that Crocodile is a very competent leader. At the end of the day, he's strong and he's very intelligent and he's pragmatic, and that'll always work. But I've always said that his absolute inability to trust anyone has always been his downside. So him keeping all those secrets and having to have people mobilize a certain type of way with the code names and not giving them, people may not even not even know what some other people look like. It's just a way to kind of run a secret organization. I think it was effective for that type of organization. But I don't disagree with you, Richard. I don't think he's perfect, but
no, I don't think any of these leaders are perfect, but they, and remember, Crocodile does grow just like Luffy.
Okay, can you say that he wouldn't call Crocodile a good leader, but a good manager, if that makes sense? I'm not sure.
Sure. I'll go with that. He's good at managing.
What do you guys think about Doflamingo?
Meh.
I think Doflamingo is very laid back.
You think he's a good leader, Captain?
I think his approach to
okay.
I think his approach to to failure is a good quality for how is a good point towards his leadership. Like how if you fail him, he doesn't really hold it over you or like punish you for it. He'll just be like, okay, I mean, you failed, just do better next time. But like we said before, it's once you get to betrayal where he's like, all right, now I gotta get rid of you. But yeah, so I'd actually argue that like he's a pretty decent leader. Like Pat said, he's pretty laid back as far as everything goes. As long as you don't betray him, he's cool. He's chilling.
You think that's effective though? I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I'd say so. Looking at how Dressrosa was run pretty well that time he was there, like the whole time he was there, there wasn't. I mean, people couldn't really have any problems because if you did, you get turned into a toy. But
so
as far as the masters know.
So I'm just gonna play devil's advocate a little bit. So I'm probably gonna do that a lot this stream. What would you say for somebody who says that his entire operation actually pretty much hinges on one character, Sugar?
Yep.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Okay, just wondering. What's up, Miles?
Yeah, because
hello.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
But to counter that, you could say that that's a point towards Doflamingo for being able to recruit Sugar.
I hear that.
I mean, yeah, but you could also argue that Luffy gets a lot of points for recruiting a former warlord of the sea.
What do you think, Miles? We're still on the first topic. We're talking about a good leadership in One Piece and whatnot. Do you think Doflamingo is a good captain? And then if you want, you can kind of throw the candidate you want to throw out there. We spoke about Whitebeard and Luffy already, and Crocodile a bit.
Do I think Dofi's a good? I think this might be one of the most nuanced questions ever about One Piece because the way I value leadership is not how I think leadership matters in One Piece, and even then there's just so many more different layers upon it. Where for One Piece, I would probably argue Dofi's fine, but I don't think most of people in One Piece worlds are good leaders by normal standards.
Well, that's why I phrased the question in this narrative specifically. But
yeah, I think I would say I would probably as a leader I'd give him a 5 out of 10.
Okay. What about you, Pat? What do you think? I know you just said he's laid back. Did you want to elaborate, or that's all you had?
I was gonna say I wasn't done with the Luffy and.
Oh no, you could keep going with that. Actually, my bad. I didn't know you got derailed. My fault.
I was gonna say there's different forms of leadership though. Like some people think taking the bull by the horns is the only way to be a leader sometimes. Yeah, as the person in charge, there's moments where you have to put your foot down, but I think if you acknowledge the relationship that you have with the people that you're in charge, and more often than not, you get the results that you're seeking, and you're a good leader. Like I think, to use a real life example, like Steph Curry. Steph not really the type of person that's gonna be in your face if you're fucking up, but at the end of the day, he's the rock that holds that Warriors core together. He is an excellent leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I view Luffy. Like Luffy's not gonna be barking orders at people, but there's gonna be times when he has to make a stand. He's gonna be trusted to make the right decision, and for the most part, he normally does.
Okay.
And with Doflamingo, I mean, do I think Dofi is a bad leader? No. Is he one of the best in One Piece? No. He's fine. Like, he understands the role that he has, but at the same time, like, his viewpoint of the world makes it so that he feels he doesn't have to do much work in order to accomplish what he wants, because he thinks everything should be owed to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of just like sits back on his ass, lets the world burn for a little bit,
That man
steps in when he
privileged.
has to.
And
Yeah.
and to say exactly what you were going on, Pat, about Luffy once again, even when Luffy makes a mistake, then who steps in? His first mate. That's his job.
Hmm.
When Luffy does make the wrong call or does get out of line, that's why he has a crew to tell him, wait a minute,
Hold him accountable.
right. And that's the job of a first mate. I like to think that Rayleigh did that for Roger, and Zoro does that for the most part. Nami does it too, and Sanji and other characters. Jimbei did it in the Fishman Island arc and stuff. But at the end of the day, that's the job of a first mate, to reel in their captain when they go too far.
Okay.
Mhm.
Dolphy gets outcast and accepts them, which leads them to being loyal to him, and he actually cares about them. So their loyalty grows while also knowing what needs to be done, even if it means losing his subordinates. Okay.
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
I was. Oh, wait, were we still on Dofi? I'll just wait until we're moving on to another character.
Oh no, I'm still talking on Dolphy right now. You could suggest another one if you want, but let me just read the comments for real quick. Luffy's a good friend. He's a good inspiration. He's the one everyone clings to, but logistically, he's not a good leader. Don't forget, Luffy doesn't just lay back all the time. He will defend his people, and he will not let people hurt them or disrespect them. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I mean, I won't lie to you. I'm probably in the like Miles and like Pat camp. Like, I don't think he's like incompetent or anything. I don't think he's a bad leader. I'm not propping up Doflamingo as one of the best leaders in One Piece. I think there's a lot of other variables that I would like consider that. It's not that it makes him a bad leader, but I'm like this contributes to why you're so successful. Your bloodline, you being a CD, and some of the sway and pull you have as a result of that. I'm sorry. I think Sugar and her ability to turn people to toys and completely erase their memories, the concept of their existence to other people plays a big role into how Dressrosa could even work in the first place and things of that nature. Like I consider all those moving parts when speaking about them. What's up, young Obama? How you doing? But yeah.
I just want to say that it's funny that you get a thing about Luffy not being a good leader, then the Dofi thing. I can replace "don't forget Dofi" with Luffy, and it's the exact same sentence. Like, the argument for Dofi is literally Luffy. He will defend his people, and he will not let people hurt or disrespect them. So, Luffy? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm just saying that's literally
I see it.
the same thing for him.
Fair. I guess the pushback would be like we get the Sanji moment when Judge is talking like, oh, he feeds rats, and like, oh, why is he listing all his great qualities? But I guess someone would probably want him to be like, hey, stop talking shit about Sanji. But again, I think you have to kind of understand how Luffy is, and I guess the relationship he has with his people. I think when you don't remove that variable, you understand that he's not the best leader, but I think he works. He works is probably the best way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alan, did you want to mention someone else? Because I think you wanted to say one of the character.
Yeah, I was actually just going to mention Sanji.
Okay, speak on it.
Like, there's the few times that we've seen the Straw Hat crew be split up. Sanji's the one who leads them. So I do think that he has all the qualities that could make for a good leader. Like he he knows his position. He knows the people within his crew very well and knows what they can and can't do. He knows exactly what to say to them to get them back on track or like get them focused the right way. Like with Chopper when Robin was lying, he was like, never a real man forgives a woman's lies. With Soge King when he was like, you do what you can, I'll do what I can.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he has his good moments of showing that he has a good leadership quality. So I think if he was a captain, he would make a good one.
Okay. What are our? Sorry, Pat. Did you want? Unless you wanted to chime in on that.
Oh, Sanji?
Yeah.
Nah, Ellen said everything that's on my mind.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Sengoku? And then after that I'm going to switch to Sakazuki. What do you think about Sengoku as the leader of the Marines?
Balanced.
Balanced?
Yeah. He's a little bit of everything. He's not too laid back like Aokiji and Garp. Mm-hmm. He's not, I have the right to do whatever I want like Dofi and Akainu because I am fucking A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not as stoned as Kizaru. So he's fucking like the man's powerful, balanced, seen some shit. Like he's got the history, he's got the pedigree, he's got a level head in certain situations. He's not going to be like we saw in Marineford. He's not super compassionate. He's like, I'm still going to execute your fucking grandson regardless. He's the son of Roger.
Thank
blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And all that kind of stuff. So I think Sengoku represents probably the most balanced leader in, if you want to like use that term, the most balanced leader in all of One Piece, because yes, emotions are a factor, but he also has a job to do and stuff, and like he's an all-rounder.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Sengoku's extremely level-headed.
All right. I probably agree with that. Like Sengoku, I think is a really solid leader. I don't think he's anything insane out of this world, but I do know he's supposed to be a pretty good tactician. I think that matters. But I do think that while I always said I don't think Garp would be bad or stuff, like it'd work. I do think that you have to have the right temperament and certain like intellectual capability. I'm not saying Garp is dumb. He's proven that he's at the very least extremely wise, but Sengoku, I think, just kind of has the better temperament and, capabilities to kind of run an organization like that. But again, though, running an entire Marine organization to me is a much bigger responsibility in some ways than just a crew, especially since they're tied to the world government and affiliated with protecting, 140 plus islands that are affiliated with the world government. Do you guys factor that in when you're thinking about the leadership? Like, that's a bigger weight.
I would say Sengoku's arguably the best leader in One Piece.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I would agree with most of Griever's points, but I mean, in your point as well, Naya. But I mean, it's just like, there is no, I guess, set of things that like a leader has. Like, there's many things that could be a leader, but he has the ability just by his presence alone to invigorate and give like faith to people. He has the history with Garp of like, he might not have the title of the hero of like the Marines, but like Sengoku the Buddha is a title that is outside of that would have this same like level of like, oh, this person's moving. Like when he turned into the Buddha, everybody watched. Mm-hmm. He knows when to push heavily forward, such as with the Ace thing. We'll get the pirates here. We'll still execute. We don't care. We'll fight you. Mm-hmm. But he also knows when to retreat. We got what we wanted with Ace. He's dead. New Yonko's come up. There's no point to this war. So yeah, let's just stop it. Mm-hmm. He's not insane. He was able to converse with.
Okay.
Yeah, he was able to converse with Shanks, who's, somewhat of relative, like basically equal status on an opposing force, and be fine. As we said, he knows how to interact with majority of his admirals and vice admirals from Garp. He knows how to navigate around them. He's the one that what's the word I'm looking for? He's the one that nominated Aokiji, mm-hmm. who realistically I love Sakazuki, but Aokiji honestly I think would be a better fleet admiral.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Sakazuki's he's too gung ho. And it's good to have it, and it's good to have someone like that, But like, you want someone like Aokiji who's to be the lead force, and Akainu can be the one that can like push Aokiji
Like
when
you can
Aokiji might not
deploy
want to be
him.
chill.
You can deploy
Yes.
him.
Similar to
Okay, I got
Sengoku and
you.
Guard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
But as you already said, Miles, and as we previously said, there's different types of leadership. For example, Winston Churchill in the real world was considered a fantastic leader during war times.
Yes.
Outside of war times, he's not so hot. So I could argue that Akainu is far better right now, where all the shit's hitting the fan in the world, than Aokiji would be, because Aokiji would be from a marine standpoint, because pirates are evil by the marine standard. Akainu is the best thing to happen. The hammer of God, I'm righteous, blah blah blah. That's what you would need in a world that's been filled with chaos.
I would agree, but then again, with the structure of the admirals and fleet admirals, it actually seems more so that the admirals themselves have more on-site presence and power than the fleet admiral, because the fleet admiral is more desk related anyway. So if Aokiji was still fleet admiral, Akainu is still going to be the one on the front lines in the New World, still doing his shit.
True.
And I guarantee if Aokiji was fleet admiral, Aokiji would probably be some semblance of a thing with, but it would probably be more like Garp and Sengoku, where like Aokiji would probably tell him to do certain things, but Akainu would probably realistically still do his own shit. And Aokiji would probably be relatively okay with him doing whatever.
And
I think so.
I have an argument against my own fucking point, because fucking he's hired 2 new admirals and they both defied him.
Yeah.
So clearly, really bite the hand that fucking feeds you.
Yeah. So like, and then just going back to like the Sengoku thing, I think the unfortunate thing is the Marines are very underdeveloped. But I think from his small showcasing of Marine 4, I think it did show a lot of like, if anything comes his way, Sengoku would relatively, I think, be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like de facto he is number 1, but I think he's easily top 3, and you can make the argument for number 1.
All right. I'm not mad at that. Yeah. By the way, Sengoku, from what I remember, doesn't have a specific justice tied to him. Like lazy justice, absolute dark justice, or anything like that. I don't recall him having one attached to him. I think he just justice. I don't know. So, I want to throw a couple other names out there. See what you guys think. What do you guys think about Roger?
Roger?
Yeah, as a captain. Roger, good captain.
A good captain, yes. A great leader, I don't think we know enough.
Yeah, that's what I was
we just
gonna
don't.
say.
We just don't know anything.
You seem more like Kaido. Like Kaido's not a great leader, but Roger and Kaido were monsters in strength, and just
I don't agree with that. I was about to bring up Kaido. I think Kaido is one of the worst leaders in One Piece.
Absolutely, it's terrible.
Speak on it.
Think so.
No, I mean we're here to talk, to have this discussion.
We
could shelf Roger for a second, since you're saying we don't have enough information. Right. I'm cool with that.
I'll say what I think about Kaido, and then see if Pat agrees or completely goes against it, but or defends it. But so from my perspective, Kaido is a terrible leader, because like, just because he's got this big crew, just because he's a Yonko, just because he's ABC, does not make a great leader. For example, half of his crew is under the influence just to be a part of his fucking crew. They're literally intoxicated.
They're pirates. They can't turn up, Weaver? They can't turn up?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that if you say, hey, put yourself in charge of this squadron of fucking cops, and all of a sudden they're driving drunk all over the place, I'm not going to look like a great sergeant. Now, am I? So, like, that's, like, the fact of the matter is that these guys, like, the whole pleasure treasures, like we were talking about hierarchies and crews before, I'm not saying that the system that he's got going, because most crews have it. Dofi's got it. Whitebeard had it. Big Mom has it. Like, they've got commanders, and then they got foot soldiers, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that's a bad system that he's got going. The problem is he... I guess he's very following what Whitebeard claimed was the problem with rocks, because look at the whole thing. Hey, just to get you fuckers, my top 6 fighters other than my first mates, to do their job, I'm going to let you guys try to kill one of my other top dudes to take their spot. This whole killer be killed attitude is fucking terrible for a lot of reasons. It could heighten morale for a bunch of mass murderers, but outside of that, it's like, no, you know what? I'm good just being like in a Topi Ropo. I'm happy, you know, like I'm good. I know my limits, you know, but I would hate that some pleasure or whatever would be trying to gun for me in my sleep all the fucking time just because I'm a Topi Ropo, you know? Like, that's a terrible way to run a crew because potentially you can also, just because of the system, it's sort of like the Sith in Star Wars, you can eventually weaken yourself and destroy yourself because of that whole kill or be killed, always betray, always assume you're going to be betrayed, you know? And that's Kaido's
Yeah.
crew is basically the Sith Empire. And what happened to that fucking thing?
Can I ask a question? Just
Sure.
just throw it out there. Is it a bad thing to just lead with strength?
Inherently,
Like is it
no.
like inherently? Okay, yeah, okay, maybe I'll phrase that.
No.
Because I don't know what I think about Kaido's leader. Actually just didn't think about him. He didn't come to mind. so I'm kind of thinking of this on the fly. So forgive me if my thoughts are a little jumbled.
You said good leader in the text. I'm just saying. So
I know, but
Kaido did not come to mind.
he just didn't come to mind. But I guess it kind of reminds me of like, okay, so like I'm a reluctant leader. So I'll speak for myself for a second. I'm a reluctant leader. For all of my soccer teams and like a couple of basketball teams and track teams for the most part, I kind of want to show up, do my job, and go. I don't want to have to light a fire on anyone's ass. We should all be here to win. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm the type of leader that I changed over the years. I would argue I was like Jordan when I was younger. I just yell at you. Just yell at you. You're fucking garbage. You missed that shit. Oh, I'm not passing you the ball like I was a monster. Like I just yelled at you. Like it was like, just do the damn job. Okay. Then as I got older and I learned how to like talk to different personalities, you know, Pat might be the one where I'm like, bro, you know, you fucking smoked that left, and he'd be like, my bad, and he'll fix up. But maybe Alan have to be like, hey man, I need you to hit that layup when I give. Like I have to put my arm around him. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do it with different people. But there's some leaders. Sometimes I don't have to do any of that. I just play, and through my play, by my actions, they just follow suit. I don't have to say anything. I don't know if Kaido's that type of leader, but I'd argue that the reason that a lot of them follow him is just because of his insurmountable strength, and that's what they believe in, regardless of him being drunk and blah, 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 whatever. They know that nigga, the strongest, so I'm staying here. Is that a bad thing? Yes or no? Or somewhere in between? What do you think?
It's one-dimensional, and that's the problem.
But I don't think most of the crew, at least the important ones, follow that thing with him. At least from what I saw.
Well,
I think
the Topi Ropo literally confirmed it in that chapter when he was like, great idea.
Well, no, I'm not saying the them fighting other thing, but like, well, this is also SBS shit. But I mean, like, he's picked up a lot of them when they were really, really young. Like, he's kind of raised a lot of them. Like, he raised Jack, he raised Page One, he raised Ulti. Like, those guys actually like Kaido. The only ones that are like the weird ones is X-Drake, who's a spy, and then Sasaki, and
Hawkins because he's a bitch.
Well, I'm talking about the Tobi Robo and above, but who they were captains that they literally beat the fuck out of and subjugated. But the other three from Black Maria, Page One, and his commanders, they all like love him, and it's not. I mean, strength is definitely a part of it, but I mean, like, they actually respect and like Kaido.
Which, like, just to do a bit of pushback on that point, I would argue that once again, just being the strongest will surround you and with people, and they'll be inspired by your strength, but that does not make a great leader. For example, Goku would be a fucking horrible leader. Just because he's inspires people by going all out every fucking fight to 110% does not make him a great leader. It just makes him powerful and people want to follow the strongest. Mm-hmm. That's some sheep sort of mentality. That's the Superman fanboys who don't look at fucking Batman at all. You know what I mean?
I would actually agree. I don't think Kaido actually inspires his crew at all.
No, I think he provides more of a
safety net. I think he provides more of a safety net. I don't think they would ever really get, like, I don't think if Kaido pulled up in his dragon, like, I don't think if Toby Roper or like King, they'd be like, oh shit, Kaido's dragon form. It's like they'd be like, oh yeah, this is just Kaido. Like it's not like when Luffy does it. Like I don't. Yeah, Kaido's not the inspiring type.
And
It's like
that's the
this is our
problem. That's
guy.
the problem
We're
with the whole.
chill.
I was just gonna say that's the problem with when I said it was one dimensional. Like leading by strength is not a bad thing. The problem is if that's all you have going for you, what happens when you lose?
Okay.
That's the problem. When you lose, everything starts to crumble. Everything falls apart. If you lead by with only one, if you're a one trick pony and that trick doesn't work at the fair anymore, nobody's gonna come to the next show.
Okay.
You know, so
Do you genuinely? Well, I mean, the things with Kaido's state of life, yada yada. But let's just say, Kaido didn't fall in the volcano. He was on the ground. His entire crew saw. Do you genuinely believe King would have left Kaido's crew or Queen?
No,
or
no,
Jack?
I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying that we're
Okay.
talking about a leadership. We're not talking about a friendship. Like we're not talking about the Straw Hats or the Red Hair Pirates that are basically 10 odd people. We're talking massive hundreds of people just saw, you know, the dragon god fall.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna see he's not a machine. He's a man, and he can be cut. He can bleed.
So
he
the
can die.
illusion is broken.
Right, and if you break the
okay,
illusion, if
the
you
air
have
of
led by the
inseparability.
illusion
Okay, I got
that
you.
you're the strongest thing that can't be killed, the legend perceived Kaido. How many people in the fan base alone for the last 10 years have been speaking that Kaido was the strong? Kaido is on the top tier list. Kaido's number one. People have been putting him at the top ranking all because of one throwaway line 10 fucking years ago by the narrator, and we just proved that shit ain't the case. There's a little
Luckily, I never took that to heart. So that's
no,
that's
but I'm saying a lot of people did, and that's what, as Naya just said, and when the illusion is broken, what happens?
Okay.
So if you only leading on with basically this what am I trying to think? Reputation. If you're only holding this entire thing together due to your strength and your reputation, then what happens when it all comes crashing? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, I agree with the concept. Like, yeah.
All right, hold on. So Kyle's a horrible leader. Right along Big Mom. Roger's definitely not a tactical leader. He just goes forward. His head forward. Kaido's an awful leader. He shouldn't even have conquerors because of how bad a leader he is. Really? I don't know about that one. Kaido leads by strength alone. There's no cohesiveness to his army. Everyone feels like they could fall apart at any moment. Nah, Kaido a bad leader of the because of smiles alone. I'm not even mad at that. 10% chance? Like, bro, what are we doing? Cops, I think criminals. Oh, you talking about what Reaver was saying? I got you. Kaido's crew is not a zoo. Is a zoo, not a crew. There's rarely a loyalty, just fear. I don't think Kaido allows his crew to kill one another. I assume it's just simply fighting. Kaido doesn't even kill half his enemies. He just makes them join. Yeah, he's on his like Young Justice version of Vandal Savage, where he assimilates strong people into his army and to his cause instead of getting rid of them. What if you lose your strength? You get old and weak. Do you lose everything? Fair. To be fair, it might be better to be disorganized for pirates. Rock's crew grew to becoming a problem for everyone. You know what Rocks kind of reminds me of? What's the middle school that the Generation Miracles went to? Teiko? Remember when? Remember at one point they stopped working together, but their individual skills were all just so overwhelming. No one could beat them anyways. Maybe it's similar in that vein. Marines more so need a structured chain of command. That's fair. It's just that kind of rarely leads. He just sends everyone else out. He only fights if he finds a challenge, which isn't usual. I definitely agree, Naya. He leads with strength. Now, I would say it's not the best way to lead, but it allowed him to rise to the top of the world, so it's effective. Okay, I think that's fair. A good example is Yasracha. He's strong, and he has stuff that others want, but he has no loyalty for anyone in his crew. To be honest, if Kaido lost on everyone's side, I think many would leave, including Queen. King, maybe not, but yeah, there's so many who would. I argue Queen might just be there to experiment and do stuff. I don't know. I guess it depends on what they're...
Yeah. We've seen no loyalty from Queen.
Yeah, absolutely would leave. Some would stay loyal. The ones that got beat up by GB seem to be Beast Pirates. That's speculation, though. But yeah, Rock's definitely in the middle school. Okay, all right, that's fair. All right. Pat, did you have anything to say about Kaido? I don't know if you chimed in at all, or Alan. I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? My problem with Kaido is that his crew is just so unorganized. Like their structure just leaves me scratching my head because I'm just like, bro, what the fuck do y'all mean? Like, y'all don't know what's going on. Like when whatchamacallit, when all that shit was happening in Udon and Prisoner Mines, like the lack of communication between like the
Communication is key.
headliners and the Beast Pirates and stuff like that. Like when the Straw Hats came and then they were causing all that ruckus in fucking was it Bakura Town? Nobody's gonna back me up. Was it Bakura
Oh,
Town?
I'm sorry. Wait, what are you trying to exactly say?
Like I'm saying, like the communication between them, like the organizational structure within the crew, it sucks.
I will say, at least specifically for the Udon part, don't forget Caribou took down the communications, and that
Yeah,
Tama took
that I
over.
know.
Yeah, so that's why
But
Baka Suratan I genuinely don't remember.
Could I ask you guys a
yeah,
question?
like
Sorry, finish your thought first, and I'll ask after. I'll write it down. So
nah, when like Big Mom was like pulling up to fucking Wano and shit, he's over here panicking, scrambling. King had to step in and do something, and then the nigga just fucking wipes the sweat from his
He
head.
was
Like, nigga, aren't
he.
you in charge?
Oh, Queen was sweating.
True.
Nah, Kaido was sweating.
You think Kaido was sweating?
He literally wiped the sweat off his head.
when Big Mom was
Come
coming.
on, bro. He literally said if you like when she pulled up, what did Kaido do? He straight fought her. Like he's not sweating. I
Nah,
thought
he
when you
was sweating
sweating,
because
so
she had her executives with her, and she was gonna cause a war.
you're
That
trash.
because that's what he asked them. He was like, "Does she have her
Her
brats on
brats with
board?"
her.
And they were
Okay,
like,
okay,
"Yeah."
okay.
And then he was like, "Are y'all crazy? She gonna start a war if they come over here. You gotta sink them immediately." And they're over here like, "Oh, we can't. We don't know what to do." And then King was like, I'll handle it."
Okay. Here, let me throw in this variable. Do you think that part of the lack of cohesiveness and organization and being organized is because of the size of the crew for one of them? Because it's really like he has a lot of people in there. Because remember, Luffy's crew is pretty small. Some of those crews are a lot more tame, and some people have fleets, armadas, or like different, like like you lead this like portion, you lead this portion. Like some are bigger, some are smaller. So I think size is probably something we have to consider. And do you think that part of it could be complacency? For being one of the four emperors for so long and not particularly having many things that could really truly challenge the crew, they get kind of fucking lazy. They drink, they lay back. We got Kaido, we're good. Do you think that's a variable we're not considering?
That's actually that
It's
would be a nice
possible,
parallel to his old
that's why I
rival,
think
Moria.
that's why I think his system of like you can fight for the top is good because in a period where they're not fighting anybody, there's people are still at least the Toby Roper would still better themselves to get stronger to fight the commanders, and you would also hope the commanders would not loosen up on their training to get overtaken. Now, obviously, in execution, was that really shown to be that way? No, but I think in theory, that would be the point of that whole thing.
Okay.
I think Kaido probably should have let it more like Whitebeard did, because Whitebeard had what do you call it? All the extra crews that weren't actually his crew anymore. But Kaido could have done sort of a similar thing, sort of like the Marines. Like you can have people with their own ship, their own crew and stuff like that, but this captain these headliners have their own ships because they're the best headliners, and then they listen to the commanders, and the commanders have their own separate little fleets and blah blah blah, and Kaido commands
I
all
think
of it. That would
I
have been
think they
probably
would.
a
I
better
think
system.
they would. I think they do, and the reason why I would
They might, but we
say
don't
that
know. That's the
is
problem.
because like yeah, we haven't seen any of Kaido's ships, which is the weird part. We saw Jax, but because at least with Big Mom, we saw that her officers like Oven and Daifuku did have their own like ships and things of that nature within like their. So I would assume the Toby Roper at least. I think they would have their own ships,
I
especially
I,
when we
I
had
would think,
Toby Ropens were two captains. That were
but
they
like
had their like they were captains of their own
technically
thing. So
speaking,
I would assume.
like what Naya said before, like I forget how many pleasures are there, like 2,000 or something crazy. Um, so there's a
Yeah.
minimum amount of that. They should all be organized. Like there shouldn't just be like there's not forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but in the military, there's not just every single private fucking all in one group and they all listen to the one same guy like they do in a pyramid
No.
scheme, but they're sectioned off into garrisons and into different crews,
So,
stuff.
Yeah.
in military structure, you have your fire team, and a fire team is part of a squad.
Right.
A squad is part of a unit. A unit is part of a battalion.
Right.
Yeah. So you would
I
like
think
something like a commander takes on 2 Toby Ropos, 2 Toby Ropos take on like 5 things, and they each take like 1,000 from the other set groups.
I just think that if we had seen that a little more, we might have had a little more organization. But I think the reason we don't see that, because that would have been the way. It's not the sheer number of people. That's fine if you structure it well. I think Naya's second
he's
point,
not sweating in this chapter 9:30. By the way, he's not.
Yeah,
keep going.
What Naya said about the complacency, or was it you, Miles? I forget, but the complacency of Kaido was the reason that we never got that much structure. He should and could have had that structure for the last 20 years. He chose not to because I'm Kaido. Let 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people join. Who cares? They're all beast pirates and they're all mine. He has no care for doing that. Oh, I want to get drunk tonight. Oh, I want to go fight Red Hair. Oh, I want to go do this. He just goes and does shit. Okay. So I think it's that, and once again, that proves that Kaido's not a great leader. Because instead of, okay, the crew's getting a little big, maybe.
Reaver?
Yo. He got snatched? He got snatched by one of the pleasurers. That's crazy. They threw him in the bag. Like Otama.
Like Kaido Hockey went. Kaido heard he was talking shit.
That's crazy.
Okay.
He said, "Who's not a good leader?"
Is there anyone you think that we're forgetting to mention? I was thinking about Boa Hancock for a little bit because of like Amazon Lily, like the island. I briefly thought about Magellan because of Impel Down, how he surrounded jail. Is he a good leader for the way he runs the jail? And I was thinking about Law. I don't know if you
Magellan. I would just say Magellan's good. Law doesn't have a crew, so he's not a leader. And Boa Hancock could be good, but like she was trash when we saw her because she was just literally turning her people to stone. Just got like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the 9:30 thing was, so I'm gonna look up the chapter.
It's 9:30. Yeah.
I think Capone Beige is a good leader too.
Who? Sorry.
Besides the Cole.
I would agree. Actually, agree.
You said who? Sorry.
Capone Beige.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Father. Okay.
I'd agree.
I'm not mad at that. Saying that loud always makes me laugh. But right now, yeah, this is a general. I have 6 topics here. Actually, it's on the first one, but we're talking about good leadership and good captains in One Piece right now. That's what we're talking about. Law's a good strategist. Not sure about a good leader. And Balboa was awful. Okay. None of them are drunk. Cost when he did. I don't think Oda made this a thing, but do y'all think because Kaido had no conqueror using his crew, it hurt the cohesiveness in his crew, where it didn't want anyone that no rock? Oh, so like because he was so against having someone like that, maybe he needed the category to manage stuff. I think King was pretty competent, all things considered.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think every crew needs to be made up the same, but that's interesting to see because he did say the world doesn't need this many conquerors. It's interesting to think about it that way, but yeah, I don't know. But if no one has anything else to say on the leadership topic or captains or whatnot, anyone you want to throw in, but I do think Magellan is interesting to think about. We can move on to the next topic.
That's my guy.
I'll just say that Magellan clearly recognized his own limits and is very hard on himself, regardless whether you think he's a good leader or not, because he instantly decided to step down from one loss.
Yeah, for Hannibal. Yeah.
So, good for him in a way, recognizing.
Okay. I'm trying to think. If there's anyone I'm really not considering, like from an island or something. Like I don't know, Iceberg as the mayor. I don't know. There's probably some people I could think of, but maybe
Buggy.
Hold on. The Yonko.
Foxy's a good guy.
Jonathan from the G8 filler. I remember him. G8 filler. That's not bad. That's not a bad one. I remember. I love that filler. By the way. Go ahead.
They're gonna say Condriano next. You need to nip it in the bud now.
All right. Black Arm Zephyr. All right. So, what do you guys think some of Oda's biggest missed opportunities were? So it's not necessarily like, oh, this is a bad thing that he never did this, or he never tried this, but it's just like a missed opportunity. Like it would have been cool. And I'll start to kind of give an example. I think the fact that bounty hunters do not have any real sense of presence in the story that like that. You know, he was Johnny Osaku. We had some of the filler ones that tied into the Stampede movie. I think his name was Koda or Kola, whatever his name was. And we had Zoro was a pirate hunter. But I always think that'd have been kind of cool to have some prominent bounty hunter that you had to look out for, like, you know, for real, for real. So I think it's a missed opportunity. It's not bad. One Piece not trash because there's no prevalent bounty hunters, but I do always thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity. So, what do you guys think? Some of the things that could have been cool that he never really did. What are you guys thinking?
Damn near every single organization.
I mean, speak on it.
World government is a hot garbage of an organization. They have no real structure. They don't do anything. Marines is severely underdeveloped. With the only ones that matter are admirals, and it's kind of a shame that even vice admirals don't have as much sway or influence as they should. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like those two organizations, I just think should be way more interesting and dive deeply into. Like we've been like holding on to this smoker straw for like years now. Like he's like our last guiding hope, kind of. And where has he been?
Okay.
Smoker been AWOL for a long time.
Since Dressrosa, right?
Long.
Oh, so since Punk Hazard, I guess the scene after with Isho doing the thing, and he's like, I couldn't have done that. Like,
Yeah.
Some.
Yep.
Basically.
Bounty hunters are definitely the big one. Something else would be top tier with swords and marines not getting enough attention. Tashigi as a character. Facts, it would have been cool, but I think Oda just turned them into Shichibukai when you think about it. Because they apprehend power. Okay, that's actually never thought about it that way. That's interesting, actually. Because they're government sanctioned pirates who are sent to kind of quell some of them, but I don't know if they get the bounty for it. But interesting. I wanted to know y'all thoughts on Odin as a leader. We can pull it back real quick. What do you think about Odin as a show? I don't think
Odin's actually good.
I don't think he's a good
I'm
leader.
one of the only people I know that
Actually, no.
understand why Odin did what he did. Like, he was wrong, but Odin's not that far sighted. Like, we never got proof that he like remember, this is the world of samurai. Their word is their bond, it's their honor and stuff, and he still held Orochi. And remember, the pirates that he had met, Whitebeard and Roger, had conquered the seas, and they were honorable and kept to their word people. Remember how Odin got on Whitebeard's crew with the 3 days hung on the boat and shit. So a promise was a promise. He believed it, you know. So that's the one thing that people go, oh, Odin was a shitty leader. Odin was this, Odin was that. I get it from Odin's perspective. Was it naive? Yes. But it's in character for Odin to believe the word of Orochi and Kaido.
I like that. I like that a lot, Griever.
But is he a good leader?
I think he was. He tried
just
to say
just because you understand what he was doing. Was that good?
His country.
Was that good? Because it did send Wano into 20 years of darkness, if you will.
It did, but no leader has fucking future sight. He did not know that. Okay. I'm not saying he wasn't naive, and did he make a bad decision? Yes, we can look at it, but at the time, nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. You know,
that's fair. I don't hate that reasoning. That's interesting. I've never heard anyone say that, so that's different.
Trust me, my comment section was burning me alive when the Odin flashback was going on. So
okay. I feel it. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, so Odin, I mean, anyone else want to chime in real quick on Odin? I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, I think Odin's a good leader. He's one of those people that leads by example, and he has the ability to naturally inspire others to follow him.
Okay.
And his viewpoint of like how to treat subordinates and then how he gives them free reign, it kind of reminds me a lot like Luffy. So I think that's why I like him so much. I mean, at the end of the day, like, the decisions that he made did cost Wano, but it's like River said, he didn't really expect for Orochi to be, like, as scummy as he was. And it's fair to say that he was naive, but, you know,
I think he put his
he
dreams
he did the best that
ahead
he
of his
could.
people, and it cost them. I do think that when it counted, he was there though. Okay.
He did. He tried to make things right when he came back with extra knowledge. You know, he had grown wiser. He'd been on the seas for a long time, so he had grown up. But unfortunately for him, you know,
Okay. All right. So
niggas was scheming.
since you're talking about what are some other missed opportunities you think that we don't have in One Piece? A missed opportunity.
I got one. I got one. For me personally, it would be Zoro's opponents not having the ambition to become world's greatest swordsman. Like, it's not really that big of a deal, but I just feel like it would, having at least some other person out there who wants the same goal would have just made sense.
I agree. That's when I would have said if no one said it. So
That's a good one,
I'm in
actually. I
agreement
didn't
with
think
that.
that.
He doesn't. It's not that he hasn't fought swordsmen and stuff, but he doesn't fight, like he doesn't run into anybody who's like on the come up like he is that really wants that title, that dream. He doesn't face people like there's no opposition in his way. Like at least Luffy, other people want to be Pirate King.
Yeah, and it's like it in a sense it kind of diminishes the title because it's like nobody else wants it. So what makes it special? Is it just because Zoro's friend wanted it? Like Zoro and his childhood friend wanted it. That's the only reason we're going off of so far. So I personally would have preferred at least just a few other people who would have also liked to be going for that position.
Just tiny bit of pushback. We've met a lot of swordsmen and swordswomen in the series. We don't necessarily know that that's not their goal technically. I agree that I would have liked to meet legit, I'm going to be the world's greatest swordsman, blah blah blah, and to outright state it. But just because we haven't heard them say it doesn't mean there aren't people that swordsmen we have met or that are on crews and stuff that don't aspire to that. Or some of them could be like Moria, who gave up, had the dream and gave up, so we don't really hear about it.
I would actually, yeah, that's true. I'd actually like to even hear that. Like that would be cool to
yeah.
see.
I would have
agree.
to
I do agree. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate.
I would have to hear it because even from like the ones that I've seen that are prominent, they really seem to make no like interest. Like even Vista, who's a world-renowned like swordsman, he fought Mio, but it wasn't like it was so casual. It was just like, oh okay. Like y'all don't really care.
My missed opportunity is loosely tied to the topic at hand, but I would like for some of the other Straw Hats to mention their dreams a little bit more. Like, we haven't seen Sanji talk about the All Blue at all. And I'm just like,
do you still care, my boy?
Yeah, like I mean, I don't need him to say.
I know he cares, but yeah, I hear you though.
Yeah, like I don't need him to say it all the time like Luffy does, where he's like, I'm gonna be the Pirate King and shit. But like, I wish we would get like hints or stuff like that. Like, I don't have to see Nami building a map because I know she's a navigator. Like that's a given. I know she's doing that in her spare time. But something like discovering the All Blue, Miles, come on. But something like discovering the All Blue is something like you have to actively search for.
Okay.
So, like, the fact that he hasn't mentioned, like, oh, I've been putting shit together since we've been here, and such, and, like, I think it's here, like, you know what I mean?
All right.
Well, I would even go into Sanji's cooking thing where, like, he learned those comics.
He cooks every arc.
The attack cuisine from the Kamabaka Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't need him to mention it every time he's cooking. Like, I should just know that he's doing that.
Wait. What do you think I was about to say?
That he doesn't talk about what he learned from the Kamabaka Island in his cooking.
That's the Okamas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I do think it is important. I don't care if he like talks about it, but the important thing is that the actual results of the cooking actually has benefits to your actual physical strength.
He said that it does.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you have cooking techniques that actually increase, like, your physical abilities, I think that's an important thing to tell your crew or show that you've done for your crew, wouldn't you?
You think they care? They just know that they're being taken care of.
Well, I mean,
I'm actually gonna go with Miles on that one.
we don't know if we have no proof that Sanjay did it for him.
Like, look, we
But, man.
get Chopper explaining like the ins and outs of every medicine the moment he administrates it. You think Sanjay would be like, "Hey, I learned this in the Kawabaka Kingdom, blah blah blah." Like, guess what? You're gonna feel even better than you did before because ABC.
That's what I'm saying. This is one of the most annoying things about One Piece. No one talks to each other. You're friends. If you have any type of information that would benefit making sure your friend doesn't die, because we're in the new world where people supposedly can die at any moment, then do it. It's not hard to have a conversation and say, hey, you know what? I can make a sandwich that can give you a +2 on your speed. Say it. I don't care how minuscule the sentence has to be, but it's not hard to say, hey man, these sandwiches will improve your guys' physique. Your stamina goes up. You'll get a little bit stronger. I think that's important.
All right, or I guess I suppose it would be it would work even if it's like someone eats it and then they're like, I feel like I'm faster, or something like that. Like, you know, like they take notice even if they that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's just a gradual thing where it's like, Sanjay, I feel like your food like revitalizes up like faster, gets us like, I feel like training's been a bit easier like when I eat your food or something. Like there's just so many ways, and you could like, it could be very passing of sentences, but we know like, okay, Sanjay, and that, I think, Pat, we can both agree that would also tell people like a lot of people to shut up about Sanjay, where it's like the cooking extends far beyond just the food thing. Like, it's actually giving buffs to the crew. Like, this is really, really important and unique.
This ain't Clorico.
Yeah,
hold on.
Clorico
Off topic. But don't y'all find it interesting how Rayleigh and the Roger Pirates have different perspective from learning the truth and what to do, even though we don't know what Luffy's answer will be? We know that there'll be a war the moment he finds the One Piece. I think part of the reason the answer they had is what they had because they were too early, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe there was kind of no other answer to have, but it is intriguing. I definitely agree with that. Freaking Robin, talking about. Hold on. Golden Ace earlier. You did say something about what do you say? Oh, my number one opportunity would be inspired by Brago today is the fact that Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji still haven't had a convo about Whole Cake Island. I actually don't care about that personally, but fair.
Nobody gives a fuck about what happened at Whole Cake Island. It was between Luffy and Sanji. That's it.
Yeah.
Luffy said he was going to get Sanji. He went and got him.
Yep.
The reason people don't like that though, Pat, I mean, Miles, you all know it, is the fact that it's the same situation with Usopp, and Zoro went, yeah, no, we need some apology, and I never heard the fucking apology out of fucking Sanji myself. So,
oh boy, so
you know, if Zoro,
I gotta do this here again. I gotta do this.
It's not the same situation.
I'm so tired of doing this. All right, here we go.
All I'm saying is that I'm playing the argument. I'm not saying I fully agree with it, though. I do think if Zoro found out everything that happened, he would probably be like, "All right, what the fuck?"
And if he found out,
situation, that's fair.
No.
If he found out, Luffy would just tell him to shove it.
Yep. So here's my issue that I've always had with that sentiment. I'm not saying it's your opinion, but I don't think the situations are the same. It reminds me, I always use the example. It reminds me of LeBron going to Miami and Kevin Durant going to Golden State. At a very surface level, they're similar. I understand there's commonality there. But once you go beneath the surface, you realize that it's much different, okay? Usopp quit. He left. He defied the captain. He quit. He challenged him to a duel, and he lost. All right? The situation was different because if you're not playing pirates, you can't just quit and come back willy-nilly, yada, yada, yada. When Sanji initially left, he had every intention of coming back. He wanted to deal with the situation, but things got out of control very fast, and he felt trapped. You have to understand that he never resigned in his heart, because when he was telling Luffy to go away and kicking him, blah, 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 Luffy never believed him. What did Luffy say after Sanji fed him? And he was like, all right, now get out of here. Tell me the what?
The truth.
The damn truth. Which means the whole time he knew he wanted to be a straw hat. He never accepted his resignation. Okay? He just wanted him to fucking stop capping about it and fight for his own freedom. Okay? It's not the same situation. It reminds me of when, if I have a friend and you're in a relationship and someone does them dirty and they tell me about it and I get mad, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? That was fucked up. And then 2 days later, for whatever reason, they forgive them. It is not my job to be mad for them. I'm so tired of this Zoro shit. Okay? It's not the same situation. No. There's no apologies need to have. There's no comments need to be had. None. Moving on. It's not the
Let
same
them niggas know.
Let that nigga know. But yeah. Other missed opportunities?
Zoro kills Kaido. Great.
Oh shit!
No, that one hurt.
Somebody
Yeah,
had to
yo,
say it.
I
Let's
can't
be real.
believe it.
Somebody
Oh
had to
no.
say
Oh no. Zoro didn't kill Kaido. It's the worst thing ever happened in my life.
You know what? I actually did read that crazy fucking essay that Buddy made of like 19 pages as to why it all leads up to that. And I'm not gonna lie, great fucking written essay, well constructed argument. I don't agree because I don't think One Piece. I don't think we're ever going to see Zoro or Sanji or Jinbei or any of them beat the main bad of the arc. That's Luffy's job. It's still a shonen, no matter how much people say One Piece is the greatest thing ever in the world. It's still a shonen, main character. Goku's gonna win, not Vegeta. It's the way it works. But I actually I did kind of like the theory. It was nice at the time that maybe he. And when we first got Rooftop Gang, it was like, oh shit, wait a minute.
No, you guys, they never had a point. They had no facts, no bars, no evidence. All of it was circumstantial. No, they had nothing. They had no leg to stand on. They're terrible.
I disagree, but
It could be. It
They
could
had-
be 100
They
pages.
they
peer-reviewed,
crafted
I
that
don't-
theory from the literal crease of their anus and pulled it out of nowhere, and then it basically was a fan fabricated delusion. And then when it didn't come true, they malfunctioned. I'm not trying to hear that, bro. You could like Zoro, okay? We don't have to do all this. You can be like, yo, I'm a Zoro fan. We don't have to go that far, man. Let's be real. Let's keep it funky.
In
would've
all,
liked
in all realistic, the only reason Zoro kills Kaido or for example, next arc Sanji beats Big Mom, whatever. The only reason that those theories are so fucking terrible is because this is a shonen and Luffy has to win. That is the literal only reason that it's a bad theory. If this was something else,
Zoro's also just sucks, but I mean,
Disagree.
no, he doesn't.
I
He's
disagree.
better than
Luffy
your
had some of his own reasons for wanting to take Kaido down, so they're just not gonna.
yeah.
The
No,
reason,
they're-
the reason
they're-
it doesn't make sense.
Zoro can't be Sanji. How you gonna kill Kaido?
The reason
Oh,
it doesn't
Zoro
make
can't be
sense
Sa-
is
Oh,
because
wow.
narratively,
We ain't doing this now. We got other shit to talk about.
narratively, it just doesn't hold. Like, why would Zoro have a beef with Kaido and end up killing him when Luffy already claimed him
Anime
as his
fan talk.
target?
That guy's a moron.
It was mostly at the time when people like some of the
You can tell
argument.
him I
Once again,
said
I'm
that. I
paraphrasing,
don't like him.
but
He
most
knows
of it
this.
was the fact that he's the samurai that comes back to Wano. He's got Odin's blade. He's gonna finish what Odin started as a clearly we all know he's from Wano and blah blah blah. Like it was sort of set up in that very child of destiny way. Like I'll finish what my father couldn't sort of mentality, sort of idea. And
But
it's not
Ryuma's not his
because
dad.
realistically,
We heard
wasn't that
multiple
exactly
people
what the
that
whole
Luffy
Joy
was
Boy thing
coming
was?
down.
It's like Joy Boy's going to show up in 20 years. Joy Boy's going to show up and he's going to do it. Luffy is the child of destiny. What people were arguing with Zoro kills Kaido. I know there's a lot of meatheads thinking about it and Zoro fanboys.
Luffy even had the same color scheme as Odin.
Zoro has Joy Boy like traits. I'll never forget that fucking tweet, bro.
Realistically, Zoro, I'm not saying he has nearly as much of right or anything. Once again, I'm just playing devil's advocate for the theory. But the idea was basically is because he's taking on Odin's will, and he's going to be the one to finish what Odin started.
Reaver,
And that's
Reaver,
fine.
you don't gotta play devil's advocate on that. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna leave that one to the wind, right? It was dumb. It always was dumb. I want to know what missed opportunities. All right, back on topic. Missed
I
opportunities.
thought that we would have actually seen when Luffy learned, advanced Cockroach Hockey or Cockroach Hockey coding, and then the next time we saw him was him getting knocked off the roof.
Mhm.
I actually thought that would have been something that we would have flashed back to and got to see like more of that. But I get why we didn't.
I actually thought that was handled well. That was a powerful moment because you're thinking like, oh shoot, he got conquerors, and he's like, oh fuck, eyes are white. He flies off the island, kind of like, no what? Whoa, no. He laughed. He laughing
laughed
at
my
him.
boy out. Oh my god, I felt
Sulong,
so
Sulong
embarrassed.
Beppa. Sulong Beppa. That's a missed opportunity.
Oh yeah, man, don't get me started on that nigga.
Sulong for
Ooh.
Beppo. Okay, that's interesting. I guess fair, but I think I just wrote him off for so long. What do you guys think about the fact that auditory attacks with like a poo were so simple, like you can just plug your ears to dodge them?
Good.
Like,
Fuck that nigga.
like did
Fuck
you?
that nigga.
I know, but like my point is, just bear with me for a second. I'm 100% with you. Fuck that nigga. My point is, with Brooke, we've seen him. I know it's probably in tandem with his soul ability, use music in creative ways, like putting people to sleep and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, maybe with somebody who can use hockey, the way that I don't care if it's a poo, just auditory attacks in general, sound-based attacks, I thought would interact interestingly with hockey. Now maybe I was overthinking it, and I'm willing to admit that it could be my own fault. But I was very disappointed. It was simple as plug your. It's not even like you have to like get like a Frankie, build me a headphones that cancels all sound. I just put my hand over my ear. That's it. I was disappointed. I won't lie to you. I thought that was weird.
Boys need to see Prism headphones.
Whatever we need.
I would argue, I mean, if Apu was sweet with like he was decent, but I mean, like if you could just have the sand where people are always plugging their ears and you just run up on them and just pummel them to death. I mean, that's still a decent strategy.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Luffy
kicking the shit out of him, Sanji kicking the shit out of him. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, but Sanji and Luffy literally the only two people that use their legs.
Zoro literally holds his sword in his mouth. He gonna fuck that nigga up.
Apu's raw. Stop eating. Nah, he's not.
I don't know. Didn't Apu knock Zoro out?
Missed opportunity was mid not washing Apu on site and casually talking to him in chapter 1052 like he didn't betray him. I kind of agree with that. I don't think they should ever be friends in any capacity. But what do you guys feel about Robin and Revolutionaries and what we got from that? That's something I hear a lot of people be like pretty disappointed in. Like they thought with her being with Dragon, we'd get a lot more. Maybe there's a lot more we don't know. But what do you think about that? Missed opportunity?
I think we will get more when the time demands it. So far, the time has not demanded it. And we just got a little something with her first real combat since
Black Maria.
Skypiea.
Yama, if I can say Yama, yeah.
Where we are pulling back to those moments slowly but surely, especially with Sabo in the news. We will get more. I think people need to hold their horses with that.
And the last chapter ends
yeah, but the thing is, Pat, like, yeah, sure, we got something, but think about the time frame in which it took to get here was ridiculous.
I mean, I would argue that we didn't have an opportunity to get something up until now.
I mean, I guess, bro. I don't really agree, but I hear you.
Do you think any opportunities, like I know like I'm gonna phrase this weird, but opportunities to actually properly kill off a character were wasted? Like some people who just shouldn't be here that you think would probably work better for the story, or in the sense of injecting more stakes or tension.
Kinemon and Kiku should not be here right now. Okay, they know it too.
They know it too in the story. They're aware.
Yeah,
they freaking
know.
I think those are the only two I think that should be dead.
Okay.
They should be flat out
gone. I can mention a couple. I can mention a couple more, but those two for sure.
Okay.
So are Kaido and Big Mom dead? I don't want to get into it.
I don't know. I'll just wait. Now I'm ready to wait on. Like we'll just see. But okay.
They've been in a volcano for 7 days.
this women. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Go ahead.
Oh, Pound should have been dead too.
Okay. What about, is there any character that you think kind of maybe had an arc or trajectory that you were interested in and it kind of fizzled out with a whimper? I saw some people say Smoker and Tashigi. What are you guys thinking about any characters? I don't think Smoker's done. I think Tashigi, I think she's done. But Smoker, I think he'll get a chance.
I'm gonna say Kobe. I know we're gonna get stuff with Kobe, but I still like kind of wish we just saw more of his actual journey.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'd actually like to know exactly what the fuck happened at the Rocky Port incident. So I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vergas was saying that there's a lot of stuff that they off screen that we should see or at least get some more of insight into. So okay, Brooks' knowledge from an era before Roger becoming a pirate needs some attention. Okay, well I remember him saying something like he knew who Roger was, but Roger
Yes,
was
Roger
just
was
a
a rookie.
but Roger
and
was just a
Roger was
pirate. He wasn't the pirate king. So I remember correctly. But so we did have
Yes.
an incident, but I hear you. Kinemon
He
getting
knew the
stabbed.
German too.
Yeah, Kingdom getting stabbed only for him to split and reintroduce to us while farting was a war crime. I think the thing that makes it, I think personally speaking, I'll speak for myself, makes all of that Kinemon stuff the most egregious to me, is I thought the biggest reason why Oda was doing that was to give us a very strong, heartfelt moment with Osuru when he reunites with his wife. That dinky panel where they're far away from the back with their hands up is not moving me. Fuck you. I can't believe he did that shit. Oda's really a hoe for not killing Kinemon after the Thunder Bagawa to the head and be stabbed in the gut. He knows he's wrong for that. He does.
That
Yeah,
shit-
he does.
That shit definitely ruined that moment from Kaido
Yeah.
because that shit was so close.
Because he was doing cleanup. It was like clean. Like he was doing cleanup. And I don't know. It is what it is, though. But
He had smacked Luffy off the roof and said, "Fuck it, it's time to end this shit."
yeah. But all right. Let's move on to the next topic. What are the biggest issues with One Piece discourse? So the conversations,
Everything.
the conversations that are happening on One Piece, whether that's
Zoro.
Go.
I mean, go ahead. You could. I mean.
Oh no, I was just saying. Go ahead and finish your
I was gonna say everything often. I think this is a huge issue with most anime discourse. Is just
I was gonna ask. I was gonna piggyback off that. But go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say most things just dissolve into power scaling debates, which is
Yeah.
one of the huge issues. And then two, most people that try to do the power scaling fights don't know how to power scale. So it's just like
What I was going to
so it's just a
add-
double whammy.
Yeah, what I was gonna add was just keep this in mind. Do you think that there are specific conversational issues with One Piece that are specific to this community, or do you think every anime and manga community go through it to some degree? It's just because One Piece is such a big story and so popular, it's exacerbated.
No, there's a certain delusion that One Piece fans have when things don't go their way, and it's honestly ridiculous.
Nah, I genuinely think it's like almost damn near the same throughout all anime. Honestly, it's the same discourse I usually see all the time.
No, but like with
Zoro's
One
just
Piece,
replaced with a different character in every series, and the same thing you're saying now, Pat, with like that. It's the same thing with most people. I'm telling you that now. It's low key the same.
I mean, I haven't seen an example where it's this bad. I've been following anime my whole life, pretty much. Like, there's people that genuinely believe that Zoro is just as strong as Luffy, if not stronger. And it's honestly ridiculous, because I'm like, how do you think that? Where
So
in the
people
story
still
did you
think
get
that?
that inkling? Yes, they do.
They do. Niggas told me Zoro was stronger coming out the time skip.
I remember.
Like, how did you
I remember
even
this
get your
happening
mind
way
to think
before,
that?
But I don't think anybody still says that. Like, I haven't heard anybody say anything post Wano about that, but I could be wrong.
Let me see what the chat's saying real quick. Zoro's existence is bad for the community. That was a sad reunion between those two and Kinemon. I agree with that. The foreshadowing
that.
thing, One Piece fans can't understand that foreshadowing equal good. 90% of the topics regarding Zoro is annoying. Sanji versus Zoro and Admiral versus Emperors are pretty annoying. I don't think any other fan base in other animes deal with delusion that talks about Zoro. People try to diminish the humorous side of the manga and want it to be a dark fantasy. I can actually,
Yes.
I will tell a personal story about that in a second. Zoro fans are like Itachi fans from back then. Also, the Monster Trio debate. Monster Trio. Wait, what's that? Are they saying it's not Zoro, Sanji, and
Yes,
Luffy?
they're saying
No,
that
it's
Sanji is
Jinbei.
not part of the Monster Trio.
Oh, okay. One Piece fans, crackheads for world building. Speaking on the dark fantasy thing, I remember when this is probably one of the first times I remember I kind of like went off in one of these forums, because I remember them being like, oh, I can't wait. With the passing of Ace, Luffy's gonna become a edgy loner pirate who's not gonna trust nobody, and blah blah blah, whatever. And when Jinbei was able to snap him back, they were like really mad about it, and I was like, I don't know what story you thought you was reading. I just don't understand where that came from. But there are times where I think they want this to be like, yeah, dark fantasy, like Berserk or something. Like this is not that.
Any time we have moments of humor or comedic moments, they just like they're such Debbie Downers. It's kind of fucking annoying. Cause like when I read One Piece, I read it for the adventure first and foremost. Then I read it for the characters. And then after that, I read it for the fucking humor because it's funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I be having a good time. And they'd be like, oh, there's too many jokes. We're in a new world now. We need to be serious. Man, fuck you.
Yeah.
There's always going to be time for jokes in One Piece.
I didn't ask for that. And Oda, I would still actually, while I do think that the amount of humor has dropped post time skip, I still think he's one of those very special people who can balance tone really well. Like I don't get tone whiplash from the humorous moments mid-fight, like Kaido being drunk and he going stop you, and he like flirting face, like that's fucking hilarious. Like I love that.
He's dropped.
Like that was hilarious. Like he was in his flirtatious drunk mode, and when Luffy like stop hitting me, he's like stop you. Like I think some authors don't balance it well. Where I call it like tone whiplash, where I'm like
Yeah.
I like for example, I think the MCU is fucking garbage at this. Like the MCU movies on average, they insert jokes at the times where I'm like, I think it's awful, personally speaking. I think some of the earlier movies did it better. I think as Disney got more of a monopoly and got kind of like stuck to their formula, it got worse. I think they're not good at it anymore. But I think it takes a special type of creative team to be able to balance humor in a serious moment like that. Like I always argue that Toriyama wasn't bad at it, but I think because of how he kind of structured, I almost said One Piece, that's crazy, Dragon Ball for a while, when he kind of tried to bring it back into Boo Saga, it was a little bit jarring for me. I won't lie to you.
It was.
That's my stuff,
I use
though.
that
You know
example
how
a lot.
my boost. I love Busaga, though, but I'm weird. So.
It's okay to be wrong.
All right.
I don't dislike any Dragon Ball arc, but after the way the Namek Saga and Android Saga was very serious and dark in tone and nature, like for him to just suddenly make it lighthearted again with all these jokes the Boo Saga had, it was very jarring.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, Gintama mostly hilarious, but gives me the most pain. I feel that. Gintama
Gintama
can pull on the heartstrings, bro. Oda isn't funny anymore. That's really my problem because pre-time skip I dreaded. That's interesting, but the humor is subjective. So that's something that's hard
He's
for me to.
not. I think that's kind of crazy. But
That's a crazy statement.
I don't agree though. Don't always need to be a berserk. People need to understand that it doesn't matter who joins the crew. Sanji is number 3 in the Straw Hats. I agree. How can I laugh at Luffy's impression of Sanji
his
and Skypiea?
Fucking name.
Yeah. Bro, that
Like,
Doctor Strange movie had me sick to
be a
myself.
genius.
Monster True Debate, Dragon Ball, probably. Yeah, I got you. But yeah, like, I forgot what I was gonna say. I completely lost it. That's crazy.
Going off the Monster Trio debate, I remember that's something I used to tell you and Pat and I about. Like, I think that one of the reasons why Oda didn't have Jinbei join the crew in Whole Cake Island, and also in Fishman Island too, is because he was waiting for both Sanji and Zoro to be
stronger. Okay.
Yeah, stronger than him, and so that way people wouldn't even be having the conversation of like, oh, the Monster Trio is being split up because they're obviously stronger than Jinbei at this point. But here we are anyway. So.
And I remember I tweeted with Jinbei joining the crew. I think now Jinbei will take the role as the guard of the Straw Hats, protecting the weaker members while Zoro and Sanji focus on the 1 and 2s. Okay. And Lord behold, isn't that exactly what happened in Wano?
I love Jinbei.
He's getting the breaks off this.
Yeah, Jinbei's a goat.
That fight went hard, by the way.
It was a good fight.
I really liked it.
Which one?
Jinbei versus Hutu.
I want to see it animated. I like what I saw with Frankie versus Sasaki a little bit in the anime. I saw a scene. I won't lie to you. Since they switched from the rooftop, I haven't really watched. I know we're going back now. I think I signed the hybrid mode thing, so I think we're going back. So I'll be back, but I haven't watched it in a while though. So I feel it.
Jinbei's animated moves always go crazy.
Samigo Seiken. I'll be like, oh.
I was talking about this the other day, man, but I still like the first translation when Jinbei returned and they used that fucking Jay-Z verse.
Allow
Bro,
me
that
to
shit was
reintroduce
that
myself.
shit was
No,
killing
I
me,
remember
bro.
because Joey was like, my name is Jay. Jay to the Mbe used to sell fish scales back in the 6th grade. I said, what? You selling fish scales? That shit had me weak, yo. Joey, one of the funniest niggas I know. Shout out to my guy. I haven't seen him talking in a minute, but yeah.
I just love in the Who's fight when he kept saying, it's like, Knight of the Sea, Warlord of the Sea. No, I'm the helmsman of the Straw Hat Crew. If you're going to give me a title, give me the one that matters the most.
Most to me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, this bitch is basically going, yeah, Warlord of the Sea, Pasha. I'm on the Straw Hat Crew now.
Yeah, like it means so much more to him than any of those things ever did. Bro, people still downplay Sanji after he loaded Queen. I'm a big Sanji fan, but Yamato is really built different. I don't know. I think
Yamato's overrated.
Yamato,
I want to agree, but I want to give her time. Like she fought Kaido, I guess, you know. So like,
But she wasn't doing anything.
I don't know. I'm gonna just reserve judgment on Yamato for the time being, but I kind of feel that though, like I do.
Like she's definitely strong.
All I'm saying is that starting 5 is fucking insane. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, Yamato. Woo-hoo.
Until Luffy says it, I don't accept her.
But I don't dislike Yamato or love Yamato like anyone else. I'm pretty neutral on her, pretty moderate. So, but yeah, one of the biggest ones for me is obviously the power scaling. You know me, I'm so tired of getting dragged into a One Piece discussion or whatever, and it's like, Naya, do you think that Zoro and Sanji together could live with Mihawk? I'm like, why the fuck do you care? I don't give a shit about this. It's not important to me. I don't think about this in my free time. All right, are there dream and I always like say this: power scaling is not important. This is a battle shonen. Might makes right in this series. Most conflicts are solved by who is stronger. So it would be disingenuous not to talk about it. I've never had a problem with power scaling. I used to be a literally batshit backwards set the programmer type power scaler in my youth. I get it. My problem is the over obsessant need to constantly speak about power scaling. And if you ask the average One Piece fan why they read One Piece, they will tell you it's not about the fight, the lore, the world building, the adventure. Oh, I don't remember for the fights, but every time I come into a stream, low diff, high diff, mid diff, no diff. So what's the truth? That's all I'm saying.
On a tangent of that, I'm tired of hearing fucking Admiral level, Yonko level, that shit. I'm tired of that. That's
like not a term that I like really use, by the way. That's something I heard for the first time in like I think it was Whole Cake, but I'm with you. Like I'm like, who decided what commander level was? Who? Like no.
And that's also been thrown out the window completely with Buggy as a Yonko. So
hey, hold on. What we not gonna do is disrespect the Clown King, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right, I'm so sorry. So sorry.
When his muggy balls destroy ball destroys an island, I don't want to hear nothing. He got buggy nukes. Okay, I'm not trying to hear it.
We got Buster Call.
He got the breath for it too.
I feel it. Frankie, Brooke, and Robert on the bench. The bench is OD. I actually think Frankie reminds me of like a really like the role player that you know is gonna give you like you might play 20 minutes. He's giving you 15 and 10. Like he's gonna give you what you need. Like Frankie's a solid role player.
I feel like Brooke never gets the love he deserves.
No, Brooke is it's kind of my MVP for Whole Cake because he's ultimately got the thing that we need the most to become Power King, which was the rubbing of the poneglyph. And I like how he put up on Big Mom.
Mother Caramel portrait and all that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually like it's funny because anyone who like has been for a while knows I initially did not like Brooke. And that's just not true. I didn't want him to be a Straw Hat. I thought his role was redundant because I'm like, music, Frankie be playing a little ukulele, don't need you, right? And then there's like, we got a swordsman with Zoro. You're not nice like Zoro. There's like, you can swim for you can't swim for no reason. You only use your power, but then he learned it after the fact. So, but Brooke grew on me over time. But I definitely was a Brooke hater originally. I won't lie to you.
No, this dude is back in the No. See, Brook was always amazing because he just straight up asks what every man wishes they could go up to a hot woman and say, "May I see your panties?" Listen, this man has been doing what every man wished they could do without getting slapped or arrested.
I mean, I disagree, but I hear
He
you.
gets my fucking respect.
I like
But
his
yeah,
music.
one of my favorite moments in Whole Cake was when he said, even if we don't get Sanji, I gotta get these rubbings just so we can make sure that Sanji doesn't
I
feel
like
bad
when he
he goes
calls
in
Big
with
Mama young lady because he's older than her. That shit was
Oh, that
raw.
was awesome. Well, young lady, it's like, damn.
He also did outright actually fight her, and he slept with her. That's my guy.
Yeah. He slept with the queen of the pirates. I
There you
mean,
go.
let's go.
Yeah, did Luffy get with the muggy shit? Yeah, it fell down. He's like, remember back in Orange Town when I completely destroyed out of my buggy ball? Luffy's like, no, and he was like depressed. Luffy's like, no, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? So, Brooke is just slight polite. Straw Hats will. Wait, Frankie's a top 5 Straw Hats in One Piece after his Sasaki fight. He always goes crazy. His finisher was good by getting at the machine and just hitting him with the radical beam was good though. But yeah, but Brooke grew on me over time. But yeah, do you think that shit? What was I gonna say? Oh, when it comes to discourse, another problem that we have is a lot of people tend to apply their headcanon beliefs and theories as if it's absolute 100% fact, not operating on the fact that it could be wrong, that it must be true. Even if they start to get evidence that starts to contradict, they just double down. So I'm gonna give an example. I think one of the big things that was a talking point of the community for a long time was that I think was it O'Hara or Morge who said the raid was gonna fail. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but
It was March.
okay. And I think like as time went on, it became I think a little more evident and more obvious that wasn't going to be the case. But like, cause remember Pat, you showed me that one tweet where like he shot like 0 for 8 on like certain things, and like
Just kept missing.
and they just double down. Like they're like they're afraid to just be like, yo, I was wrong about it. I don't know if he admitted he was wrong after the fact. I don't know. I don't follow him, but I do think that sometimes the crazy headcanon that some people want to apply because they want something to be true so badly is dangerous, especially when they're a big content creator. Because a lot of the sheep in their comment section just run with it.
Yep. And you also have to. Some people don't think on the narrative side of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like from a narrative standpoint, I'm not saying that Oda is a good writer. He's a great writer, so he might have been able to pull off a failed raid, sure. But after seeing Whole Cake, after dealing with the Zoe thing and going to Wano and blah blah blah, there's no other option than somebody has to win or lose. This is not Whole Cake where they're trying to. There's a different objective. It's not to defeat Big Mom and take Totland back or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there was no, narratively speaking.
We also just don't have time. Like let's just be realistic about it. The most simple thing is we don't have time. Oda's been saying like he wants to end this stuff. Like why would he elongate this entire thing of we have the longest arc in the entire series and it fails, so we have to redo it later? No, that's just unrealistic. Like
I think
towards the end.
And you also have the power scalers in there, like you guys were talking about before. The power scalers, the problem with that is that you have people with power scalers, and Naya brought it up, also power scalers with a lot of headcanon going on, and nobody was going to be willing to accept that Luffy was Kaido level. Granted, before we got the Gear 5th Nika Nika shit, I was like, I don't know how the fuck... Rooftop Gang made sense to me. I was like, all right, the 5 strongest supernovas? Maybe we got a shot at this in some way. I don't know what Oda's going to do because I don't think that 1v1 they can take down Kaido or Big Mom. No way. Then the Nika Nika shit showed up and I was like, alrighty. All right, now maybe we got a shot here. But like, so I think that sort of influenced people because everyone said Luffy's not ready to 1v1 a Yonko. That was the big thing too, going into people's headcanon.
Yeah, I remember that. Adding on to that, I think that Oda actually handled that escalation well. By having him start off with the 5-on-2, and then once Luffy learned he could code himself in Conquerors, at that point I figured he would like honestly, I figured he was done. Like I figured that was all he needed. Once he had all the tools to beat Kaido. I didn't necessarily think he was gonna
That's how I
get
phrased
away
it. It was not that he was stronger. I just thought he had everything he needed to win.
Mhm.
I also feel like they
Bonjour,
take
mon coeur.
too many things at face value, and they don't understand what's being presented to them. Like Griever said it earlier with the line of Kaido in a one-on-one, you take Kaido, but like just because he's the narration was stating that doesn't make it absolute fact. And we've seen that the Yonko, like their legend, supersedes what they actually are. Like we saw it when we first went to Whole Cake. Like I'm not gonna lie. When we first went to Whole Cake and we were in Big Mom's territory and Tuttaland and shit, I was kind of spooked. Cause I was like, yo, Luffy, you gotta chill. Like you can't be making noise. What if Big Mom come around the corner? But like once you actually get to see these characters and what they're like, you understand why not one of them has been Pirate King. Because all Big Mom care about is sitting on her fat ass every day eating sweets. All Kaido care about is sitting on his ass getting drunk all the fucking time. Blackbeard making moves, but he just became a Yonko, so he's not gonna be Pirate King off overnight. And Shanks, I don't think Shanks really cares to be the Pirate King right now. He's got his own agendas. So it's like
Nobody care about that red hair loser, but I hear you.
they don't understand. I'm ignoring that. They don't understand that when you look at the Yonko as characters, Oda has been trying to make them seem more human so we could build up to when one of them gets defeated, or in this case, I guess both of them get defeated. And then they're like, oh, no, it happened too early. We are 1,000 chapters deep. What do you
Even
mean it's
before
too
that,
early?
Yeah. And
even
you know
before
what
that,
else?
not
Actually,
even
to go up
using.
on what you said, Pat, the actual one thing is misinterpretation is a lot of problem with fans too. People said 1v1 Kaido wins. Oda said it in SBS. First off, no. Second off, it was the narrator and the actual translation was the people say, as in the people within the One Piece world, as in the people at the East Blue with no hockey and no devil fruit who read the papers go, oh fucking Kaido, Kaido, Kaido. It's the majority of the people in verse. It's like people misquote it, they take it from the wrong context, and then they run with it as their argument. There's a lot of that shit too.
I'm
And
not yeah,
Griever,
like just
Griever,
adding on to that, even earlier than that, like without even using the Yonko as an example, you can take the fact that people see Luffy in the newspaper and think he's a giant, like or a fucking monster,
Yep.
like that he was like a 6-foot cannonball or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
going
the
even
theme
Grie-
of the theme of perception versus reality. It's a very strong, prevalent theme in One Piece. I used to call it broken telephone, which is stupid, but like a reason why I said it that way is just because of like the way information travels. Like I'm reminded of, and don't forget what you're gonna say, Miles. I'm reminded of like East Blue, right? Like devil fruits are real. What? Like, all right, and then that was a big deal, and then like it becomes more and more normal, right? To the point where like when they saw talking alligator in Whole Cake and they were like, bro, Nami, if this surprises you at this point, like, what are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? But go back to like a secluded island in East Blue. They're like, devil fruits are real, but like it's just you have to know who you're taking it from, who's saying it. You have to think about, is it a red herring and how credible they are. Like we know that Morgans is a capper. He be capping. Correct? We know that. Yep. So sometimes when he says something, you should take it with a grain of salt because the character who was saying it does not have high levels of credibility. And I don't think a lot of people think about that when they see a statement. They just see something's written in text and go like, that's the gospel truth. And it's like, how about you use your brain cells and think a little harder?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Miles.
Too hard for them.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Griever touched upon it. I think this goes into the discourse thing. Is that people they lie. There's been I think this phrase, Oda said this has completely destroyed almost all credible conversations. Like how many times have people said Oda said this at SBS? Oda actually said this person's the strongest. No, he didn't. Where are you guys coming up with this shit? Like. I think this is a really specifically only One Piece thing because I don't see that in other anime. But like,
I remember somebody once coming to me and being like, "You remember when Lucky Roo pulled up to Marineford and smoked that guy. I'm like, are you literally thinking about like the first arc in One Piece where he smokes the bandits? Because that didn't happen in Marineford. Like they just make shit up. You're not wrong. They just make some shit up. Like that didn't happen. They pulled up and stopped the war. Lucky Roo didn't shoot nobody there. The fuck you talking about?
That nigga was eating his meat.
There you
No,
go. Got
he
some
was-
meat
he
in
was
his
gonna-
mouth.
He was gonna eat everybody, and everyone got whoa. You can't deal with that.
Yeah. So I got one more, but I don't know if you guys want to keep going. But I have one more.
No, that's all I have to say. People just be lying about what Oda says. Like,
Yeah. My last one is this ties into like a One Piece thing, but it bleeds into the way they talk in the discourse. And I've always said this, and I'm gonna use the same example I used last time. I think this community is bad at understanding the proper takeaway from certain scenes.
Yes.
Something will happen, and the takeaway and conclusion they have, it baffles me to no end. And I'm gonna use the easy example. My favorite one to use, the Revolutionary Army military captains. All right, they pull up and they're fighting Peachbeard, Pinkbeard, depending what translation you're using. He's like, I can't remember his bounty. It was pretty low. I don't even think it was 100. Was it 160 or was it like 60 something?
95?
Was it like the 90s? Okay, whatever, right? So
think
they're like,
so.
oh, what's the Grand Lines? Not the New World. Oh, it's Peachbeard. He's a trash buyer. Blah, blah, yada, yada. Yo, they're weak. They're garbage. Blah, blah. Yo, I can't believe this is what Dragon and Sabo got to deal with. And I'm like, so that was your takeaway. Not that each one of these four combatants or whatever showed you an ability or skill set that's perfectly tailor-suited for revolutionary work. We'll start with Lindbergh. You need a tech guy. Steampunk, powered stuff, whatever. He's a mink. He's a tech guy, right? You need somebody who's going to arm you and equip you with the things you need. Karasu, intel distribution and travel. Crows are inconspicuous. So, like, if you see, I'm sure if someone who's really sharp would see a crow in an area that there's no crows, they might be a little suspicious or think it's odd. But birds flying are just pretty normal, so you're not going to think anything about that, right? Then you have Morley. Morley? I will say Morel, right? Morley. Sorry, I'll call myself this time. Morley, right? Big as fuck, but with the clay ability, he can basically solid snake sneak you in and out of places because you can hide with Morley. And then you have the beautiful Bello Betty. And her ability, what is the point of a revolution, people?
To make the people rise and overthrow the government.
All right, out their oppressors. What does Bello Betty literally give the people the power to do with her ability?
Fight for themselves.
And
The
overthrow their
inspiration to
oppressors.
fight for themselves.
Like, that's the takeaway. Why
And
did we
it's
come?
really
Oh, they're weak.
broken,
Oh
yeah.
no, they're trash. Like, you're like, what are we doing? And that is one of the most frustrating things that One Piece fans do and talk about. Where I'm like, why is this your takeaway? Where are your brain cells?
And the Cheer Fruit's like, oh, Loki broke it. Like, she made a non-combatant one-shot, like, kind of strong pirate. Like, what are we talking? Like, if she pulled up to war with that, yeah, she's boosting up everybody. Yeah, like, that's nice. They're like great support characters. Like, yeah, like.
I have two
digress.
examples. So, the first one that I want to use is the one that people always fall back on. Usopp left the pirate crew over a ship.
Oh,
It
brother.
wasn't just about the damn ship. If you're paying attention, leading up to that, they ran into Aokiji and Longland, and Usopp couldn't do a goddamn thing because there's an admiral in his fucking face. Like, what is Usopp gonna do to Aokiji? Nothing. Then they get to Water 7. He has the money with him, and he got beat up by Frankie's family, and the money was taken from him. He went to go get the money back, and he got his ass whooped even worse. Then, when he comes to, everybody's acting like everything is normal. And they're saying, oh, we're just going to get another ship. He didn't see when Luffy was fighting for the Mary, when Iceberg was telling him that the ship couldn't sail anymore. So when he was getting told that, yo, we're just going to get another ship, he's thinking like, okay, they obviously hold me accountable for losing the money, but they don't want to make me feel bad. And at the same time, he's thinking to himself, if I'm going to keep being a hindrance to the crew like this, then eventually they're going to leave me behind like they're leaving the Mary behind.
Exactly.
And that's why he was so upset. It wasn't just about the fact that Kaya gave him the damn ship. I mean, obviously they all love the ship, but it was more of a projection.
Yep.
So when people say that the situation with Usopp is the same as the situation with Sanji, I'm just like, bro, you don't read shit. Your reading comprehension is disastrously low.
What do you always,
George Bush would pay for it.
What do you always say about literacy?
Reading comprehension is at an all-time low, and the Bush administration has blood on their hands for No Child Left Behind.
There you go.
Another example I like to use. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my example is in the same arc, but it's when Sanji told Chopper about how a real man forgives a woman's lies.
Oh,
People
man.
take that shit so out of context, and I'm like, bro, he's not talking about just any old bitch who's just talking to you, lying to you about whatever. He's literally like Robin was lying to them for a reason. She was trying to protect them. And it was like, if like we understand this, he knows this, and so he's not gonna fucking be mad at her for lying about it.
Yeah. Sorry, hold on. Just contemplate. Let me just think. Just content the fact that he could use Electro to power his gadgets. What are you talking about? Oh, I missed something. Maybe the. Wait, I didn't think about it like that. Makes sense. How do y'all react to the Jinbei talk on Fishman Island? Talking about when Jinbei apologized for Arlong. I took his apology. And Nami said it was cool with it, and I kept it pushing. That's all. I didn't have any deep like, oh my God, Sanji's talking. Again, I do like, maybe because like I sometimes wonder if it's because One Piece is like one of the first major stories I really got attached to, that I don't apply certain conventional writing like tactics to One Piece, because Oda and Araki are two people that I just think are different, so I always compare them to themselves at their best. I don't know what it is, but I think sometimes people read some other stories and just expect One Piece to fall in line with a lot of the things that they expect from other shonen and whatnot, and I just don't. You're not gonna get that. It was a little different, for better or for worse. I'm not saying it's the right thing. You might not like it, but yeah. So, but all right. I'll move on to the next topic because I have to kind of explain this one, unless anyone wants to chime in on anything else. But we can move on.
I mean, I was gonna use the second example.
Oh yeah, you didn't go. Sorry, go ahead. Then tag me in.
Okay, so another example of people not understanding what is being fucking presented to them is when Sanji screamed for Robin to help him when he was captured by Black Maria.
That's such a good scene. Oh my God. They did not understand it. They did not get it.
If you've been following One Piece for any extended period of time, you know that Sanji is the type of person who will handle things alone, away from the camera or the view of the reader. Like, he's always off doing some shit off screen. So he's a very prideful individual, especially when it comes to a situation where he needed to get help. When has Sanji ever asked for help? Never. Not in the combat sense, at least. So, in this situation, he's captured by a woman. He can't fight a woman. It's just ingrained in him. He's not going to do it. Instead of letting his ass get taken out and crippling their main fighting forces, he dug deep and asked Robin for help, trusting her and knowing that she could defeat the person in front of him. And this was something that he didn't do when they were in Annie's lobby when he fought Khalifa. What happened when he fought Khalifa? He got his fucking ass whooped because all he could do was defend himself. And Khalifa turned him into a fucking soap bubble and left him there to fucking dry out. And then even when Nami came up to him and was like, Sanji, I know for a fact you're stronger than that bitch. You just couldn't put your hands on her. And even then, Sanji did not ask Nami to help. She took it upon herself. She was like, I'm going to go take care of it.
She was like, Baka. I hit him. And Sanji's like, Chopper's like, no, he's hurt. No, but to add to that, what a lot of people are not understanding about, I actually really think that, like, you guys know I'm not that high on Wano. Another component to that scene being brilliant is if you understand Robin and how she's been treating her whole life by being told that she's not allowed to live. She's a sin. Her being born as a sin and all of those stuff, all those things. And for her to have somebody depend on her to protect them was not a situation she was used to. Like they didn't see the inversion of her like actual life story being flipped there when Sanji just calls out for her help. They didn't get it. They didn't see it. It was actually really good. So, vous avez raison, Pat. Bravo. You got some praise, man.
Just really quick, I'm going to say no. I still, you didn't move me. You didn't move me with that one. I still think that it's a good Robin moment, as Naya just pointed out. It's not a good look for Sanji because that tells me when push comes to shove, if his captain's life hangs in the balance, he's not going to hit a bitch. And that, I think, in the New World, in war, that's a fucking problem. Get the fuck over it. That's my stance. I don't like
But
it. I
it's
think
That's
Sanji...
that's personal.
I like
though. That's
Sanji.
personal.
I like Sanji. I like Sanji a lot. My problem is I've been okay with them up till about the end of Whole Cake. And in Wano, he's been doing some questionable things, and I'm just sitting back going, dude, like, we're do or die now. It's World War II. You're gonna have to kill some Germans. I'm sorry. It sucks, but you're in the middle of a war. You chose to be here. Go back home if you don't like it.
Then I'd argue you're doing something that I think a lot of One Piece fans do, which is they fight against things that are futile. Like I remember when the are they the gifters? Which one's the powers called again? The gifters?
Yes.
The pleasurers, gifters, and waiters, right? Yeah, okay. So
Yes.
when Batman and Gazelle Man, shout out to Bruce Wayne, was coming through and whatever, I remember a lot of people being really upset at the character designs. And I'm like, we are like 900 chapters into One Piece. This shit is wacky. It is zany. It is over the top. The characters are eccentric, and you are basically arguing something that's futile. They kind of sound like me bitching about Bam all the time. It's not going to change. It is what it is. You have to accept it or you don't, right? So my issue with what you're saying is like you know what you're going to get from Sanji, and the crew knows this, and they understand that, and they're okay with it. And I don't.
Listen. At this point,
and he's not kicking. He's not going to kick a woman. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. You accept it or you don't.
I know, and that's the thing. At this point, I thought there was a reason for Viola. I thought there was a reason for Kelly. I thought there were reasons. There were good reasons back then and stuff right now. At this point, as of Wano, I don't accept it anymore. So it goes down for me in your guys' mind, it goes down an L. I'm just sitting back going, I'm not expecting much out of Sanji anymore. I'm disappointed. I thought it would be a good growth moving thing. I was thinking more of a Mandalorian storyline, take off your helmet, never take off your helmet, but do it to save the fucking baby Yoda. I was thinking like for the sake of your goddamn crew, Sanji, give up your morals.
I'm with you, BTG. I think Sanji hitting a woman would be the worst thing to happen to his character.
No, but it's not about his morals. It's about how it affects the relationship with the person that's most important to him in his life.
Zeph.
Yeah, which
it's not a moral thing.
You can make that argument, but I'm just saying that I personally I lose a little respect for Sanji at this junction because we're too far into the New World for him to stick to that. That's all I'm saying.
But it's not negatively affecting the crew. That's my thing. Like,
but
it's
might.
not. It's not going to. They're gonna find a way around it.
It could.
It could, but it's not going to.
It won't because Oda's never gonna write it that way.
I mean, there's no strong women in One Piece anyway, so who cares? And that's like not even like me trying to like be like, I mean, like unironically, like. I mean, yeah, but Sanji would never fight her anyway. That's something that's Luffy's job and always would be.
And Sanji,
there's no women commanders.
So.
Well, there's Smoothie, but I mean, literally, the only woman commander we have didn't do anything.
I mean, we can agree to disagree, but I like the moment, especially for Robin, but it doesn't bother me with Sanji. But all right, let's move on. So, this question I kind of want to explain because I think I don't know how to write it out. I'll write it out really quickly, but it is what abilities would complement certain characters, and here's what I mean by this, right? So. I've been seeing some interesting things going on with some fan art, and I think maybe it might have been SBS or something where like Oda drew, I think Zoro with the dragon fruit to make his Dragon Twister stronger or Tatsumaki stronger. And I think I had seen some pictures with Nami having a Goro no Mi in tandem with her climb attack, right? To help enhance, I guess, the abilities that she can use there. So what I'm basically saying is, like this is all make believe. This is all like fan fiction stuff. What abilities do you think would really complement certain characters' skill sets? Now I'm gonna give you a small example, right? We know that the Ope no Mi, the Op fruit, is all of the techniques that we seem used to that are related to medicine and and medical tools in some degree, or medical philosophy, like things like that, right? Treatments, the scalpel, whatever, multiple personalities, blah blah yada yada. So I think if like Dr. Kureha or Chopper had eaten that fruit, well not Chopper, I guess if Chopper wouldn't work because he's a reindeer, you just have a power and not what he's doing. But my point is like a very competent doctor eats that. I still think it's not to say they'll be able to fight like Law, but in terms of surgery and saving lives and stuff, the fruit would complement what they already know and make them better doctors. So basically I'm saying what types of fruits and abilities you think would really complement a person's kind of natural skill set. You get what I'm saying?
Off the top of my head, Usopp would be either really good with Viola's fruit or the pocket fruit from the Whitebeard commander guy, so he could just store a bunch of shit in his pockets and have a lot more shit on hand.
Okay. I like the clairvoyant idea, and he did okay. I like that.
That was nice.
That's interesting.
Speak on that.
Nami with the dragon fruit, Sanji with the light fruit. Ooh, because I guess because of light speed kicks.
I give Sanji with the fruit that he always wanted, the invisibility fruit, considering he destroyed his invisibility suit.
Mm-hmm. You could probably give Frankie Wapple's fruit, right? Because if he could make Wapple metal by himself, that would probably be really, really, really OD.
I think any fruit for Zoro that like a Logia fruit, an elemental thing would complement, because he would just add it to his swordsmanship rather than be. I could see Zoro using the Logia in an almost ineffective way, but effective way. He'd turn his swords into ice swords before he'd actually like Zoro. No, you can actually do what Like I feel like that would. It would be within character for him to be sort of dumb in that regard. Like, no.
Mm-hmm. Someone said you would give Zoro Robin's fruit. That's interesting.
More hands for more
I guess like literal 3-sword style, like literal, just 3 hands. Okay, hold on.
Well, I mean, we saw Hachi do something to that effect, and it wasn't raw, so I don't know.
Okay, hold on. You see him open up Zoro and him with the tackle? That wasn't moving you?
Nah.
Oh yeah, give one of Zoro's. Here's a good one, as your chat just said. Give one of Zoro's swords a fruit.
Ooh, okay, like a frog free type thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, I like that idea, especially if you gave him a powerful Logia.
Sanji with Ace's fruit can make a strong with the fire. Okay, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that would work.
And then the awakening is blue flames. Yo.
Let's see, what else did you guys say here? I think Viola's fruit we bear for Nami for navigating. I'm not mad at that. Usopp with Conjuro's fruit. Oh, Usopp's not a bad artist, actually. Okay.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades on that ship.
Yeah.
Usopp drew the current Straw Hat logo.
Damn, the door fruit is a compliment nothing. I mean, it's a 4th dimensional ability. You can hide like a pocket around.
You could actually, I actually did hear this. You could actually give Usopp the door fruit. That would also be kind of OD. Because if you give him an actual ability to leave most situations and get like a better ground to snipe someone, that's really good.
Give Law's sword Luffy's fruit to make him the most OP being in the verse. That's funny.
A side question: How would the door fruit interact with Brulee's fruit?
The mirror world? Ooh, because they both take you to. Oh my, that's interesting. And what was the person with that book fruit who put you in that book world? I don't remember which one. Big Mom's kid.
Mondor.
Yeah. Because those are kind of abilities that take you to like a pocket realm. That's interesting to see how. I wonder. I'm sure in the mirror realm, like if let's say like Brulee brought you into the mirror world for whatever reason, you could still go into your pocket dimension. The question is, could you somehow leave? I don't think so. I still think you'd have to exit in the mirror world. I don't know though. That's interesting. I wonder how they'd interact. I don't know though. I really don't. That's not bad. Give Frankie kids fruit. That I agree with. That would be amazing.
Ooh, I can do
Because
all.
the way that he'd be able to build things at a much Woohoo! Come on
Frankie would do
now.
all.
Super! Yes, sir. I'm with that one. I like that. I like that.
Mineral Frankie anymore.
I like that. Yeah, I thought this was just
What's that great value Gear Fourth shit that kid be doing?
Oh, Punk Gibson or
Punk
Yeah,
Gibson.
yeah,
Rotten.
yeah. Let Frankie get some of that.
That'll be dope. I'm trying to think of some other ones that would be really interesting, interactive. This have to go that long. I just thought it'd be a little bit fun to kind of theorize and think about what. Is there ever a fruit that you think that Luffy could eat that will still make him like I feel like Luffy needs the going on me. Like I don't care if that is the Nika fruit now, but like is there
Mochi fruit?
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
What fruit?
You said the mochi on me. I guess if Luffy had that, he'd be similar. I guess in a lot of ways. But I guess he wouldn't have the gears though. But the Mirror Realm and Hawkins or Law's hands would be interesting. Okay. Jinbei and Robin's fruit could hit. Give Shanks the arms. Give him the hand on me.
Real funny.
You can see Luffy with Buggy's fruit. Okay, I think he can make it work. That's interesting. And I guess he would fall into the camp of being immune for the most part to something. Like he's kind of immune to blunt force trauma, and then that he'd be immune to like swords and slicing attacks. Okay.
His quote unquote weakness, like the community likes to say. Oh man.
That's interesting. Okay. Do you guys have any more? We can move on. I just thought that'd be fun real quick. All right.
Nah, I'm good.
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Now we're gonna put on our meathead cap for a little bit, and I wanna talk to you guys about who we think is the strongest character in One Piece we haven't really seen in action or seen in action at all.
All right.
Dragon.
It's got to be Dragon, right?
Oh,
It
okay.
has to be Dragon.
Monkey D. Kong.
Is it Monkey D. Kong?
That one
I
makes
see.
me sick, bro.
I got Shocky.
You have
Shaki?
Shaki over Dragon.
Yeah.
What the? Alright, bro. I don't know what y'all are on today.
I said
I'll
Shanks,
tell you what.
Rocks,
No, listen.
Emu,
I'll tell you
I
why.
see. Okay, keep going.
Because number one,
Sugar Dorado.
everyone, listen. Too many people putting Dragon way too high up. I'm not saying he's not going to be strong. I'm just saying that I don't think he needs to be the best in the verse to be the most dangerous. Information is key.
I mean, I agree. I would just find it. Okay.
Shocky is Rayleigh's wife, and I prescribe to the theory that she was probably a member of the Rocks crew. The Rocks crew was made up of the strongest at the time, other than Roger and Garp themselves. So
Yeah, but was her name ever dropped when the names were being dropped about the Rocks crew?
So all I'm saying,
I'm counting Miyagi, by the way, in there if you want to throw him in there, because I know we've seen him do stuff, but we haven't seen him really like go
like
out.
for example, I could easily say like Ben Beckman or Shanks, but
The old Joy Boy.
Rayleigh, we've seen him do stuff. Roger, we saw him clash with Whitebeard. We know he's strong. We've seen stuff. So I decided to go take it a little literally from what Naya typed and said who we haven't seen anything from combat wise. And I have not.
Dragon.
He came in and stopped Smoker.
That wasn't combat. He literally just grabbed him.
Well,
That's
I said like little to no action. So like
Okay,
I don't
fair
mind if it's like you saw like
But
Mihawk do a slice, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
once again, I'm not against Dragon as an option. I just thought that no one would think of Shocky because, as I said, if we go off the theory that people are assuming that Dragon is going to be OP as fuck, then I can go off of the theory, the very popular theory that she was part of the Rocks crew, and in universe we know they were made up of the best. So if she was part of that,
yeah, but she could have just been the oven of the Rocks crew. Like, if that.
Anji's just a fucking cook of the Straw Hat.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Don't do that.
Oh, no, I'm gonna do that. What is his title? He's a cook, but that doesn't mean he's not strong as fucking shit, right? So
Yeah,
we
but the
got
distinct difference is that we know as the audience that Sanji's basically he's literally Luffy's like left hand man. We know that he's he's the strongest. That's different from we're looking at just a pure like
I don't
power
think
ranking thing.
I don't think the wife of the Dark King is weak. How's that?
Roger's wife was weak.
We don't
Everybody's wife
fucking know
sucked.
that.
I don't think Shaki was
Carrying
weak.
a baby for
but
18
I
months
don't-
in your stomach, that bitch had has better strength than Roger and fucking self. I don't give a shit. That man died to tuberculosis. She kept a baby for 18 months. I don't give a shit.
Rose is not strong. There's no okay.
Rose kept a baby for that's humanly not possible.
We've seen more fighting from Pygmies Morgan. Hold on, he was boxing. he put his paws up.
Big hands Morgan.
yes, sir.
But anyway, it was more to do it. I was taking the question quite literally.
Oh,
Dragon
so
is
do
the
you
obvious
want me to separate into two then? So do someone we've literally never seen do a combat thing then first, and then we'll do like little to no something then. We'll
literally, I
For
go.
me, it'd be Uroji.
Rouge, okay.
The Mad Monk.
Pat?
Or
What?
Pat,
Ma D Monk.
Wait, why would you pick dude?
what? Why do you think? I don't know. Why do you think? Yeah, why a Rouge?
I mean, he took out Snack. Or not Snack. Wait, was it? It was Snack.
It was
wasn't
Snack.
It was
Yeah,
Snack.
yeah, snack.
Yeah.
Wait, you think?
Yeah, actually,
I'm not saying a strong character. I said the strongest.
Oh, sorry. That's my fault.
Like,
I thought
I'll
we
give you an
said
example. Like, if I'm using my separator now, like, you were like, all right, like character we've seen, like, kind of like little of, like little to not, like not too much. I'm gonna fucking say it, Borsalino. I'm gonna say it. I'm going there.
Oh,
I'm going there. I'm doing it.
I-
Borsalino. And if you're saying
But
like
I think-
someone I haven't like literally seen throwing a punch, I'd probably go with Dragon. I'm like not entirely convinced he's the absolute strongest. I think he is literally the most dangerous to the world government because of what he does and what he knows. But
Yep.
I would argue Dragon.
No, go ahead, Miles.
I agree.
I was just gonna say the thing with Dragon, just to keep it short, is just I would have a like whether or not he's the strongest. Yeah, sure, like that. I'm fine if you don't think he's the absolute.
Some people saying
number one
girls say, by
unit.
the way, or Emo and Rocks I've
But-
seen.
Yeah, I think that's real. That's fine to say as well. Like with Dragon, my thing is Luffy will be the number one in the verse. Garp was one of the strongest in his verse, comparable to Whitebeard and Roger. So I just think it would be weird for Dragon to not be the same of his exact generation. Why would he be the odd man out? And then two, it seems he has some level of history with Akainu, and there's probably going to be something there. So I would also assume he'd be comparable to Akainu. And I think most people would argue Akainu is one of the strongest in the verse. So like, I think there's just too many things to point that Dragon isn't nice. But like, I think there's multiple good answers realistically.
What about Mihawk for you? You fucking Mihawk stands. Why are you trying to act like you're not a Mihawk fan?
Who?
You.
We've seen.
You know who?
Yeah,
You,
we've
nigga?
seen
said
I mean, we've seen him.
Like I don't count Shanks or anybody. We've seen him.
Yeah, I would count Shanks more than Mihawk. I think like Mihawk we've just seen a lot like him do stuff. So I wouldn't count him. And even if we did, I think he's
Kaido
weaker.
was the strongest
Right.
character until we see more from other characters, in my opinion. I'm actually not mad at that.
I still think Big Mom's stronger than Kaido, but I
I
hear
don't, but I hear you. Well, I think they're a little different, but I hear you. I'm not mad at
the
that.
one in the Hall of Fame that's still alive is stronger, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Blackbeard, the goat.
Blackbeard was not in the Hall of Fame. There were 5 people in Kaido's Hall of Fame, and Blackbeard was not on that
He
list.
didn't. He didn't know.
Yeah,
Because he didn't know no better.
Shame.
He didn't know no better. He
He
didn't know about my young nigga on the come up. All right,
He
big
don't know
body.
To be
that.
honest,
Proud.
Kaido
have
low-key
any
isn't
relation with him.
trying to see Blackbeard. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
really not.
I am not.
What?
I am the only person I know not impressed by Blackbeard and still not.
Bro,
Nah, you're not alone, Griever. You're not alone.
What is
Wait, what are
Kaido
you
gonna
talking about,
do?
Miles?
What's Kaido gonna do when he gets sucked into Blackbeard's foam and he gets uppercutted with the Quake Fist?
He's gonna fucking Thunder Bagua that nigga with Conqueror's
When he
Hawk.
catches a fucking Death Eyes with the kudos. Kudos
Hey,
no
Kurozu
mean
about to-
Death Eyes? Are you crazy?
We bring out the Kurosu, he's gonna hit him with the 3 Realms Ragnarok. Wow.
Kaido wasn't trying to
That nigga
say
gonna eat that
Whitebeard
shit.
with that fruit. No, you telling me Blackbeard has the fruit and
That nigga
Darkness?
Blackbeard gonna
I'm
eat
actually,
that
I'm
shit.
actually curious if that would work, because doesn't the darkness take away the ability? So technically, the darkness would still work, but I'm actually curious. We don't know if when he uses that ability, can he actually use the Guruguru no Mi? Because wouldn't it not work?
He can use them both at the same time.
Yeah. Remember when
like,
he has
but we've seen him use both at the same time, but we haven't seen him use the darkness ability that took away Ace's fire, like took away the ability. I'm saying that we haven't seen Blackbeard use the Guruguru no Mi while encapsulated in a fight like the way you suggested that, he'll Guruguru punch him while taking away his fucking dragon form. It's like,
He
the
can
Darkness
do
is just
that.
It's just a natural passive ability, right?
Yeah, he can do
It's
that.
not
He can
official,
trap them in
yeah.
the darkness, and then he can use the Guruguru no Mi while they're trapped in the
If he
darkness.
has to touch him with his hand. He doesn't have to do
It's literally this literally thing we did to Ace. It's the same thing, but it will just be the punch would just now be charged by the power of quakes.
Yeah, or Luffy. Like he just grabbed Luffy
and threw him down,
choke slammed him. He didn't do the field or anything. He just really grabbed him and choke slammed him and damn near killed him.
Yeah.
But you guys got to remember with the fucking Guruguru, I mean not the Guruguru, with the Yami Yami no Mi, he's twice as susceptible to damage. Yeah. And for a nigga like Kaido hits hard.
But
he took hits
from Garp and Sengoku. And Garp. Wait, and
here's just what I'll say on Teach. Like I'm obviously playing it up because I like Teach. He's one of my favorite characters in One Piece, right? I'm obviously playing it up, but all things like just to be serious for a second. The reason that I've always been impressed with Teach, aside from him actually just being like actually a pirate and doing devious things and anything to win, which I fucking love, is because I argue that a lot of these series, One Piece might be inverting that a little bit in my opinion, but a lot of these series, when you get to the top tier combatants, the strongest people in the verse, I would argue that all of their strengths tend to overlap. So they're really fast, really strong, have some really good ability. They're like experienced combatants and have like destructive capabilities on a scale. And I don't think I've seen Blackbeard dodge a single attack that's been directed at him. He takes the hit. It hurts even more than it should. Then that nigga gets back up and he just on his rant versus Indiana, he hits you with some fucking stronger. And just think it's so raw. It's literally what's that game where you just hit each other until someone passes out? That's how he fights. It's just so fucking raw. I love it.
Did you ever consider that he can't dodge because he's fat?
Yes. He's fat and the ability draws the attacks towards him. He has never like a tied up Jewelry Bonnie was able to kick him in the face. I think that's fascinating. Like what other character you've seen like that where they're really strong and they're dangerous, but you could always get licks in on them because he can't dodge nothing. I think it's really, I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I'm very excited to see him in action. Personally,
I think he matches up really well with Logia users and people who are reliant on their devil fruits. But when it comes to people that are straight up brawlers, he would struggle.
Oh,
I don't agree with that.
I mean, when Shanks is dead,
I don't agree with that, but it's fair.
Yeah, sorry. Well, if Shanks dies, it's not going to be because of fucking Blackbeard. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I don't know about
It was going to be because of Blackbeard. Why did that fucking bitch claim, this is my era now? Oh, Shanks, never mind. I don't.
He wasn't ready.
I don't know.
Because he wasn't ready. Because he wasn't ready.
It wasn't time.
I want to be something clear. Hold on. I think Teach is a bitch, bro. I don't think he's not one. My point is, I like that. I want that shit. he was talking shit, and Blackbeard and Whitebeard's gonna choke the shit out of him. He's like, yo, I'm your son. What do you? Oh, he's trying to live, bro, by any means. He's a scumbag. How do you not love this? He's a scum. He will do anything it takes to win. I want more of that. I need more. We want more. Like I love that shit.
Bro, Shanks be complaining about how his eye hurts and shit, bro. I don't want to hear it. He got this
This
scar
nigga
from
Miles be making shit up. Oh my god.
He didn't say the scars on his eye are wound him and it hurt? He didn't say that?
He did say that.
He said that shit.
He didn't say his eye
And
hurt.
He said
the
that.
scar.
He said
Where is the scar located, Pat?
Come on, bro. Come on, Pat. Not to mention, he got this shit from Blackbeard.
I actually did like Orochi's role. I thought Orochi's role. I think Orochi overstayed his welcome, but yes, I liked Orochi's role in Wano.
I don't give a
Y'all be putting your
flying
cape
shit.
on for the trash
I don't give a-
characters.
No, because that scar don't mean shit to me. He scarred him before he became a Yonko.
Shanks can show up and complain about fucking old man hemorrhoids for all I give a shit. He showed up and challenged the strongest in the world, all of them, with 10 fucking dudes, and said, "Come at me," and everyone backed.
Man,
the
they
fuck
was
down.
tired, man. Their mana was on
don't
3,
get
bro.
all
I'm talking shit. I'm just talking. I'm just talking.
Wait.
I don't give a shit.
Bro, y'all be overhyping the redheads. The same way people like the same way Ben Beckman had Kizaru shaking at his boots. No, he didn't. He pulled up
I
at
didn't say
Kizaru.
that.
He pulled up at
shit.
Kizaru. What did Kizaru do? He kept it pushing because he said, "You're not worth my time. You're trash."
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
But I mean, y'all acting like Blackbeard didn't turn around and leave once he saw Shanks. I am openly admitting that he ran from Shanks. He ran from Akainu. What I'm telling you is I'm okay with it. I like. Am I speaking French to people who don't understand French? I like that shit. I want more.
Je m'appelle Crivet.
Nah, because Mugi was pretending that.
Je suis en train de parler en français. Vous ne me comprenez pas? Qu'est-ce qui se passe ici?
Wait, are we acting like
Mon Dieu
Blackbeard
du
just
ciel.
didn't wait? But Naya, Blackbeard just fought Garp, Sengoku, and Whitebeard. Why wouldn't
You're
he
forgetting
just
that he also got packed up by Magellan before he pulled up there too. Like I like
Shiryu
that
didn't
shit. He
show up,
takes L's.
Blackbeard
He's
died.
losing. Like it's so interesting. His rise has been. I'm sorry, man.
Y'all
Cage Beast
hated
Unleashed.
on Blackbeard
Shout out to
just for no
Teach,
reason.
bro. When he rips off Shanks' other's arm and beats him to death with it, just remember, just give me my credit. Run me my check. All right.
You guys-
You know what, Nat, you make an excellent point because I'm glad. You're like, I love him as a villain, and that's the main thing to take away. He's a great villain, a great antagonist. He's a scumbag. He's everything we want in our villain. It doesn't make him top of the verse. Thank you.
Well, I was that was just me just fucking with y'all. I do think he's a top tier combatant, but I don't think he would. I don't think Kaido's smoking him personally, but we'll see.
I don't either. Kaido's the third strongest Yonko. So I mean,
Y'all are crazy. Kaido would beat the brakes off of Blackbeard.
Yeah.
But I think Teach has showcased that he has a crazy vitality. Like he can take a lot of punishment.
no
I don't
Yonko's
think
beating
there's
the
a
brakes off
situation
another.
where Kaido doesn't fucking eat him.
Blackbeard just became a Yonko, man. Why are you giving him that leeway?
No,
You really think-
wait. But is he a rookie pirate?
No.
Okay.
Ah, come on, bro. Let's
Like
not
we're
do
not
this.
acting like he just rolled out of bed and like, oh, I'm gonna be a pirate today. Like that man was a cage beast unleashed. As soon as he had the fruit he wanted to complete his dream or whatever, he bared his fangs at the world immediately. That's my guy, bro. I'm sorry.
And I understand
but
that,
he did
but
it in the
based
same
on
amount of time.
based on what we were shown from the times that he was actively engaged in combat, the first person he fought was Ace, right? It came down
And
to
he
the
beat him.
wire.
It
He
did not
beat him,
come
but
down
it
to the
came.
wire.
Yes, it did.
No, it
Because
didn't.
Ace was piecing him up. What are you talking about?
Come on, bro.
I'm not hyping up Ace.
That fight
Not me.
definitely came down to the wire.
It did not come
To
down
the point where Blackbeard told his crew, back up, you can't handle him.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with coming in on the wire. Blackbeard's crew just sucked.
Are we saying? Wait a minute. His all right. Now apparently Blackbeard saying that Blackbeard no diffed Ace.
No one said that.
I did not say that.
No
No,
one said that. I'm just saying.
hearing Pat's
saying
arguing that it was a hard won fight, and I agree. But who's arguing this?
I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it did not come down to the wire.
It did come down to the wire. The way the way the fight was presented, Ace got the drop on Blackbeard initially, and then Blackbeard started using crows. He surprised Ace. Ace was like, "Oh shit, I got hurt.
What happened?
I'm a Logia. What the fuck?"
No, Pat, be honest. What happened when he hit him? He almost broke his neck.
That I just said that. I said he said, "Oh my god, he hit me. That shit just fucking hurt. What the fuck happened? I'm a Logia."
To me, I don't think the fight was particularly easy for Teach. I just think that he was in control the whole time. Like I don't. It was a mid-diff. In my from what I saw, what did they say from my eye or whatever. Like I just thought that like Blackbeard was like obviously in control. That's all.
The way the fight was presented to me,
you can argue that Ace was a little bit out of practice or not used to being hit because he's been a Logia for a while. Where even Teach mentions it like, "Yo, haven't been hit in a while, eh?" So you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way the fight was presented to me, when they were about to clash, when Ace used his Dai Kai and Blackbeard used his giant Yami ball, they were both heavily wounded. They were both breathing heavily, and then
wounded.
They weren't both bleeding.
Bleeding is heavily.
They were. I don't know.
If I punch you and you start bleeding from the head, you're heavily wounded.
Pat, we've seen Blackbeard take more damage, literally the arc after from what he took from Ace. Let's not do this.
He took
a, wait, no, let's be honest here.
I just want respect on my Yonko, all right?
No, let's be honest, Pat.
That's all I want.
This is how I know you and people in the chat aren't being honest. So you're telling me Ace did more damage than what Whitebeard did to him by grabbing his neck and doing
Did I say that? Did I say that?
You would have to be.
I did not say that. I said the way the fight was going, it went down to the wire. Obviously, Blackbeard won. Then the next time we see him in Impel Down, he fought Luffy first. Luffy rocked the absolute shit out of him. And then after that, Blackbeard rocked him right back. And then after that, the fight was broken up. Then we come back to Blackbeard again. He got fucking smoked by Majulin. Then after that, he comes to...
Yeah. He was dead.
No, I always say if M. Bison with his sword didn't come with the antidote, it was game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, that was game over for the entire Blackbeard pirates before they even got off the ground.
Pat, the issue with Blackbeard is I don't think you understand. Like when he takes I think you're downplaying how much he can actually take.
I'm not done my point.
Keep going.
I'm saying, as we go on, when we look at Teach, the damage that he has been taking in these fights, they are pretty significant from people who we would consider do not hit as hard as Kaido. Yes or no?
I agree with that. Because Kaido's club be one-shotting people. That's fair.
If Kaido was the one who fucking smacked him,
no, honestly, I don't.
I think he's getting
Whitebeard. Because we're talking about Whitebeard, Sengoku, and Garpu are all three of the physically strongest people in the world.
Whitebeard had a foot in the grave. Garp did not fight much the whole day, and he's older now.
Never hit him, so.
And Sengoku hit him with a shockwave.
Why do we do this shit? Garp is old, but it doesn't really matter because he's still active. Didn't he punch Garp? Did he? Oh, no, he punched Marco. He punched Marco. Yeah, he punched Burgess. He actually punched Burgess. I'll actually give you that. That's my bad. But at least with Whitebeard, he was literally throwing giants like they were kids at a birthday party.
When he fought Whitebeard, he was scared for his life. Whitebeard hit him one time and he was ready to stop fighting.
Because he's a bitch. No one's saying he's not a bitch.
And I'm saying Whitebeard had a foot in the grave. If Kaido comes up to him at full strength,
he's
what do you
stronger.
think
Well, he's stronger now, though. You can't say that. You know, Teach is stronger than he was in Marineford.
Of course he is. That still doesn't change the fact that if Kaido hits him, he's gonna be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I don't think Kaido got weaker in the 2 years.
I don't know. I think Blackbeard can dish out just as much physical damage as Kaido. I think it'd be a battle of attrition. Because I don't
You
think
said-
because
God
I think
said
Kaido
you
be like,
couldn't go
okay, you want to
cannonball half
you want to
as
go
fast.
toe to toe. I think they switch blows, but I'll leave it at that. That's what I have to say. Shout out to my Pirate King, Crocodile. Yeah, Crocodile's actually the strongest though. Don't get it twisted.
That's the crazy thing. I don't even like Blackbeard like this. I don't even know why I'm defending.
Oh, I
this
do.
guy.
I'll be shaking my ass for Blackbeard.
I'm a Big Mom stan.
I definitely be shaking my ass for Whitebeard. I'm sorry, chat. I have not looked at the chat for a second. My fault, guys. My fault. We was going there for a second. BB not working a buggy. Ace was giving that work. Pass spin. Nope. B could actually beat Kaido pretty well with the 2 devil fruits. Blackbeard don't sleep. Man can dream. That's a bar. Hell defensive. Which was almost nonsense. BB mid diff. Ace 100%. The fight was a mid diff. That was a high diff. Lucci versus Luffy was a high diff, mid diff Chew, especially with the advantage Blackbeard. Use Pat spitting, he got a lot stronger after the fight. Advantage, I mean he outnumbered Ace. Just saying Blackbeard was over characters like Jack Free time skip. You cannot do damage calculation on Blackbeard. He built different, plus the Devil Fruit got some next level damage pain. Not pain mitigation, he actually takes more damage. Blackbeard's a tank type, exactly. I like that about Blackbeard. He is Luffy. He gets underestimated. He can take hits and will get back at you. Je ne comprends pas votre amour pour Blackbeard. Listen, man. Listen. I love him because he's a scumbag. Like, what are we doing? I don't know, man. I like Blackbeard. It is what it is. It's my guy. Luck is also part of the game, though. I'm not mad about the studio stuff. Pat is so mean to Whitebeard. Is he? You just saying he was foot in the grave, I guess, because he said foot in the grave. I think Kaido hits harder than all Tito's old men. I actually think I agree. I think I agree with that too. Taking a quake to the face with some respect. He said he was half as strong as he used to be. Why do people gasp?
Also,
like
no,
this?
that's not true. Golden Ace is just lying. You're just lying.
Kaido's stronger than
the
old Whitebeard based on what we saw, in my opinion. Also, people have to remember about Ace. Blackbeard also threatened Luffy. That is factor in. Okay. Blackbeard is impressively underhanded. He has 2 devil fruits. Both AR and AD can own Kaido. He wasn't trying to duck when he attempted to manipulate W. And Croc goes crazy. Yes, sir. All right. That was fun. I like that. That was good. Let's go into our last topic because I think this one will be interesting because I want to know what you guys actually think about this. Because I'll be honest, I never had these thoughts until pretty recently. But are any of you potentially concerned about the conclusion of One Piece kind of not living up to expectations, or kind of, you know how we have a tendency to say a lot of very long running shonen fizzles out a bit at the end, or we're not, it's not that we hate it overall, but the ending maybe not, it's not living up to like the beginning part was. Do you think One Piece is gonna go that way, or do you think it's gonna get the proper ending we all love and deserve?
Yes, it's gonna go that way.
I pose this question now. With all the arcs that we have had and we've seen the conclusions, has there ever been a time where we've seen an arc conclude and we thought that shit sucked?
Okay, I don't think that he wraps up any arcs poorly. No, I agree with that. So, but you're saying
why in the most important arc where we need to have a good ending, will he drop the ball then?
I can argue that. I'll tell you why. Because I remember when Whole Cake ended and everybody hated it. 3 months later, everybody reread the whole thing and everybody was fine with it and stuff. So
yeah.
And Wano's going to be the same thing. People still saying they fucking shit on Wano, and Wano's over. But I mean, like, people still shitting. So that's what I'm saying is that here's the problem: is the expectations I think are going to be outlandish. They're going to be way too high. I think that Oda is going to deliver a solid ending to us, whether it's great or just good or either way. I think it's going to be it's going to satisfy me, but the community as a whole is going to be hyping this shit up to the point that it's going to be impossible expectations. They're going to be they are going to want 10D level chess of an ending. and they're not going to get it. There's no such thing. You're not going to get it. The One Piece is not going to be this Machiavellian thing that's never been seen in the writing history of the world before, and human history can't comprehend it. It's not going to happen, but the One Piece community is going to hype it up like it is. And that is going to be where people are going to get disappointed when it's just great. It's not mind-blowing, the greatest piece of literature of all time.
I like that answer.
I agree with that.
The ending is gonna be fine because this is something that he's like had planned since Jump, unlike most manga artists anyway. So
Okay.
I think we'll be all right.
I'm mixed. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm mixed. I don't know. I think it's one of those. I think I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, Wano broke me in some ways. 10:30 specifically. Like,
Oh man,
I
here
like.
we go again.
Let's just let me cook. Let me cook.
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
Let me like, I really want to believe. Like, my faith in Oda is wavered. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a time in my life, if you ask me, you know, it's one for you to end bad. I'm like, man, you tripping, bro. In Oda we trust, nigga, man. What do you talk about? But as time went on, I think Dressrosa might have been the first time he scared me. I really don't have smoke with most post time skip arcs. Do I like the pre time skip a bit more? Sure, but Dressrosa and Wano are the two that I have a lot of issues with. It's not the other ones. Like, I like Zoe. I actually like Punk Hazard. I like Fishman Island. I like Whole Cake Island and stuff like that. They're all fine. And I just worry with his, like, the way that he's trying to kind of, in a weird way, speed run, even though he's not, even though he still, like, slows down. Like, One Piece, it feels fast but slow at the same time in this weird way a lot of times, like Tower God does. But I just worry that he's cutting some corners. And here's what I would say. I think that, sorry, I'm all over the place. I think the central plot will wrap up fine. Does that make sense? So, like, the One Piece and stuff like that will be fine. It is a lot of the kind of ancillary and subplots that I really care about that I think will get cheapened, contrived, or kind of sped run. In the sake of servicing the grander narrative. And I don't want that to happen. I think that those subplots are equally as important and as engaging and as intriguing as the central plot of One Piece. That's probably my answer. All right, I figured it out.
Okay.
I was on the fly with that one.
Fair. I guess I was thinking more of like terms of just like literal like ending,
The
like
last
One
chapter.
Piece, like last few like if we're talking about like the final end war arc.
I'm thinking about like the conclusion, like the wrap up, the last arc to the end, the last 30 chapters, whatever. Like, I don't know.
Like I think the only thing I guess my two big parts I think towards the end that I think might be iffy is like the actual war arc itself, and then Void Century to me is a mix up. I don't know. I guess that also depends on.
For some reason, I think the Void Century will be fine. Is it weird that I'm scared about the Devil Fruit explanation? I'm scared. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, I know Vegapunk said we want to reveal it, but I'm like, is it gonna live up? I don't know. So I'll have to see. But okay, I just wanted to know what we were thinking on that.
Listen, at this point, I think we've accepted time traveling samurai, and we've accepted fucking all these crazy shit. At this point, I think the explanation will suit the world of One Piece.
Okay. I get why people don't like the King did not die. Should he have died? Yeah, maybe, but he was not dying without seeing Momo as Shogun. That wasn't that important to me personally. I thought, for me, in my head, I'm like, I thought it was more for Osudu, but I mean, fair enough, all things considered. Real niggas will cry in the last chapter. I feel that.
Yeah.
I'll be down bad regardless once One Piece is done, because it's been such an integral part of my life for more than half my life, right? Like, I was 11 when I started, 11, 12-ish, I believe, and I'm 29 today, so.
No, it's going to be crazy when it ends, for real. No, it really will.
Like, that'd be like a big piece of my life just gone, so.
Yep. I don't know what the fuck Jump's going to do after that, because all their other series are kind of...
Oh, man. The power vacuum that One Piece is going to leave behind. I know they're scared of that day.
Like, hold on, do you want to make 2 piece? Like, and the piece is spelled P-E-A-C-E, not even P-I-E-C-E.
Are you not noticing a trend where they're slowly trying to bring back some of the old greats to start writing for them again and shit, because they're just
they was on their hands and knees for Kubo.
They're like, please,
burn the witch, yeah,
please, yo, hell arc, please.
Yeah. Please, no, listen, a one shot. I know we only don't want to do a one shot, but please make another arc of Bleach. It's the only thing that's going to keep us going when One Piece is not here.
I actually completely forgot we're getting a hell arc.
I know, but see, you know what I love? People have been complaining like, "Where's the next chapter? Where's the next chapter?" And I'm like, no. See, Kubo finally has their balls in his fist, not the other way around. And
Hell arc is
gonna
about to go
make these
crazy.
bitches sweat, and fuck yeah, Kubo deserves that because these motherfuckers wouldn't give him a goddamn hiatus to be sick. Fuck them.
Very true.
Nah, that shit was crazy. He dropped Burn the Witch, and it was like, yo, we really like this. He was like, oh, y'all like that? That was just a one shot. It was like, yeah, you want to make more of this? It was
He's
like,
like,
oh,
give us a few
shit.
chapters. He's like, give us a few chapters. Yeah. he threw us some crumbs.
Exactly.
He said, I'll give y'all 4 for old time's sake, but no more.
Oda put a lot of hints about the One Piece, moon, space, pirates. I hope he can probably flesh out the extraterrestrial world building elements. There's that too. A lot of people are waiting for Moon Piece. It's
There's
me.
just a lot
I'm
left.
niggas.
There's just so much left. That's my issue.
Yeah,
There's so much left.
It's hard to
too little
think. That
time.
I hope he can just efficiently wrap up the majority of it. That's all. So
You know what? It is kind of scaring me a little bit because, like, just mentioning the whole space thing is that was the Toriko thing, right? Like,
Yeah, that was a huge thing. We were like, we're going to space. We're doing all this.
we were gonna do a whole space arc. It was going to be fantastic and stuff. And actually, I'm one of the I've talked to a lot of people, and most people are like, actually, yeah, it's mid, but it's all right. That's one of the
Nah,
best.
don't do that. It's not mid. It's above mid.
Toriko was mid that hits for me.
No. I mean the ending. Toriko to me.
Oh, the ending. Yeah.
I love
the endings.
Toriko's hype, but
Yeah, the ending's kind of mid, but it's good, though.
I think we all realized the issue when literally they went to different islands in the Gourmet
yeah,
world and they just skipped
they were all
everybody else's thing.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay, we skipped 4 islands. Okay, I see where it's going.
But that's what I'm saying is at the end of the day, Jump does that all the time. They did it to Bleach, they did it to Toriko, they do it all the fucking time, and
Yeah,
it's just nice to see the shoe on the other foot this time. And that's why I'm saying we are going to wait for Hellverse because no matter what, as Bleach fans, we understand from Kubo's perspective, he'll never come out right and say it because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. You don't burn bridges in the community or publishing companies.
It's also like in Japan, if you do that, you stick like it's just not cool. You could get blacklisted.
Yeah, you'll get blacklisted. I mean, it happens here in subtler ways, but in Japan, it's out there in the open. You get blacklisted, like it's fact. So he can't say that they rushed him, but we all know what happened. I mean, so let's be real here. So he's going to make them sweat, make them wait, because that's his way to get back at them. And as a Kubo fan, I'm going to sit back and be like, fuck yeah, man. I don't care when you release that next chapter. I just know it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Here's the extra little monkey wrench I want to throw into this conversation. Because Verkin said Moon Piece can be another Ace novel spinoff for like Enel, and that's the last part of this question I want to ask you. I actually have a bonus question I'm gonna ask after, but do you think that it's possible that Oda's gonna start using like ancillary storytellers and other artists like a Boichi and stuff to tell certain other side stories and important things we care about, while he just focuses on the main part of One Piece? So like we'll get more light novels, perhaps like the Ace light novel, or I think the lost stuff. Perhaps like this artist is gonna draw this thing about Whitebeard and it's gonna tie into rocks or something like that. Like, what do you think? Like, if that happened, would you be okay with it, or do you want it in the main story of One Piece by Oda?
Main story.
I want everything in the fucking main story, man.
These
niggas don't give me what Oda gives me. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Kubo. I don't care if it's Boichi. I don't care if it's Murata. Like, nigga, I want to see it done by Oda's hands.
Okay,
that's right.
I
agree with that. I don't actually. Naya and I have a completely different opinion on this. I don't mind the Boichi chapters being redrawn just in his style because I think he's one of the best mangakas. He's got a great style and he's got great attention to detail. Redrawing things that Oda has already done doesn't bother me. It's no different to me than fan art. It's just cool to see it in a different style. But if they were to actually go out of their way and write a new chapter, even if Oda was the writer behind it and stuff, I don't think I'd be behind that. It's like people going back to Bleach. can't fear your own world. I understand. Yeah, we get all this other information and lore and stuff. No. 686 chapters of Bleach, start to finish. That's all I have. That's all my lore. That's all my shit. If I can't stand when you go to a Wikipedia page for any of these fucking series that have, it's like, here's 3 anime series, here's 28 light novels, here's this, here's that, 2011 to 2019, 2004 to 2006, 2000, like, well, then why are these all in one article? Like, it's one series. Like, you know, it's a book. Like, finish it. Or it's a manga. Finish it. You know, like.
I think things get hard to follow when it becomes too multimedia because not everyone's able to follow all that. We're like, oh, this movie's canon, that ties into the manga, but also you gotta play the video and like it's like I'm a crackhead. I'll do it for One Piece, but like not everyone's gonna know that, and you might have to like, you know what I'm saying? So.
But you just brought up a good point because Digimon Season 3, The Tamer, which I love Digimon and I liked Season 3, but they shoehorned in the video game only character from the Digimon World games into that series because people loved him and stuff. And I was like, it worked in the story, but I was like, everyone was so excited to see this guy. And I was like, who's this motherfucker with a fucking ultimate level Digimon all of a sudden?
I was like, it was like weird because it was like, who's this main character as dude?
Yeah, he's totally character design and all that shit. He's got a badass Digimon. It's like, what the fuck? Where did you come from? You know, as a kid, you don't mind, but when you rewatch it as a teenager and an adult, you're like, this is feeling kind of out of place. And once again, that's because, oh, well, if you play the Digimon games, then that's just appealing to the fans of the video game stuff. And I don't want that. I don't want to try to connect games, movies, anime, everything all in one, you know.
I got you. Because it reminded, I was thinking in my head, I was thinking of Danganronpa, where I'm like, oh my God, why did they do this? Because we started, we had Danganronpa, Goodbye Despair, Danganronpa, I think it's called Happy Trigger, whatever. Then we had Super Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, Ultra Despair Girls, that takes place between those two, and then they were like, we have to do this anime. There's actually the I mean, I guess I shouldn't spoil this, but there's Danganronpa Zero, the light novel, and then there was the anime. Like I cared about Danganronpa enough that I'll go check all of it out and like, you know, figure it out myself, right? Same thing with something like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts, at the very least, they're for the most part they're all video games, right? But even some people are just like waiting for the third entry, thinking these are some spin-offs that don't matter. And I'm like, bro, you're not playing Birth by Sleep 350 over 2 days and whatnot. You are going to be lost as fuck, boy. It's not a spin-off. These are entire fucking like main campaigns. You see what I'm saying? So I think it makes things more complicated. But just to quickly touch on the Boichi thing. Alex, I think Boichi's art works for like Sunken and Rock and stuff. I just think it looks really weird for One Piece. I hate it. It doesn't look right to me. Now, I'm a bit of a One Piece purist, where I think Oda's art style perfectly complements the type of story One Piece is. Where I always say that the way that he draws One Piece is actually a bit of a veil for how dark the story is a little bit. Because One Piece, if you kind of remove a lot of that goofiness and stuff, I'm not saying it's the edgiest, darkest story, but my point is there's a lot of really sad and really serious undertones going on in One Piece. And I always said the art style kind of acts as a veil to kind of shield that a little bit and make it a bit more palatable for kids and blah, blah. And like they cry and their mouth gets really big and they look kind of silly or whatever. So like, when I see One Piece specifically in other styles, it doesn't work for me because it kind of like contradicts my belief that the visuals completely complement the type of story it is and the theme of the story and the tone of the story. So personal, but that's a personal thing. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not a Boichi fan. I was saying he sucks. I like he draw. The way he draws girls are fire, by the way. But yeah, Face is some worth with that. Face has the 3 routes, Fate route. Unlimited Blade Works, Heaven's Field. Then there's Fate Zero, and I think there's Fate Apoc. What's it called? It starts with A.
I'm never getting this.
It starts with that, and then after they have like a lot of the like Fate Zero stuff that I don't really, or Fate Go, sorry, Fate Stay Go or whatever that I don't really care about. But
Hollow Ataraxia.
There's that, there's that too. So, but I mess with Fates though. Me and Pat like Fates.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind one of the Fate series I watched. I watched the one where it was Alexander the Great was Rider. Pretty cool.
And you probably watched it first, which was wrong. You didn't go through the Fate Stay Night stuff first. Basically,
No. It
or
was
did
on
you?
Netflix. It was on Netflix, and it was the only series there, so that's why I watched it. I
No,
was
my
just
point
bored.
is that I think a part of the oh my god, I feel like I always do this for Sim. You're never here for this. I think part of the biggest problem that with a lot of people with Fate is that they watch Fate Zero first because it's a prequel. And you would get this, Griever, because you like Star Wars. What you
Yeah.
did is the equivalent of watching episode 1, 2, 3, 4, getting to,
Boy.
and then like if you like basically get to episode 5 and you're like, why are they making this such a big dramatic scene? I know Vader is
Yeah.
fucking Anakin. That's what they do with Fate. They believe because it takes place earlier in the story, they have
It's
to
the-
experience it
or
first, not knowing the
playing-
story was structured to omit certain things and play on your
Right.
foreknowledge certain ways that you go 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and that's the way to go about it.
Or
Monogatari has this
playing
problem
like
too.
Birth by Sleep first. You imagine playing Birth by Sleep first, and then
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts
What the
1?
fuck?
would
Like
be
that would
terrible.
ruin the story for you. Absolutely.
Listen, I like both games. I like the Kingdom Hearts series, but that would ruin it if I had to. If you try to play it chronologically,
Yeah.
it would
You
not
play.
be.
I always say you do for games that are games, the series, and franchises that are told not in chronological order. Do your chronological order like play through, read through, whatever after you've done it at least once.
Do it by
For
release
example,
order.
for Garden of Sinners is a little. If you're not like it could be a little complicated to know what time it takes place with Shiki and whatnot, right? So what I did is I watched Garden of Sinners in the release order, and as soon as I finished it, I watched it in chronological order. I did the exact same thing with Monogatari, right? Because Monogatari, actually for me, it's a lot easier to tell, depending on whether if Kiyomi has his bike, how long his hair is, because he wants to grow his hair off to cover a certain part of his body. I can always tell what kind of time period I'm in, but that too, went in the proper order in terms of reading and watching it, and then I did a chronological read and watch. They just gotta give you the full scope of it. So yeah.
There you go.
So yeah.
I agree.
All right. Final question. It's a bonus question. This is just for fun. What are some of your favorite filler characters in One Piece? I like talking about movies and fillers and whatnot and stuff. Yeah. Like for me, Zephyr. I'm about to say Zephyr is actually he's one of my favorite 5 characters in One Piece in general. Like he's in my top 5. Like he's not ever in my top 10. Like Black Arm Zephyr is one of my favorite characters in One Piece. I love that nigga so much. He's so raw. Neo Marines. Otashi wa Sento. You saw the Smash Buster. Like yo, he's nice with it, bro. I love that man. How about you guys? You got any from a movie or from a filler, G8 filler or something? Any characters you're thinking of?
I mean, Jonathan has to be talked about for this.
Okay. Okay.
Jonathan, you know what? Actually, I am hoping, like Shiki, that one day Oda just straight up brings Jonathan into the, because Jonathan was actually, we were talking about leaders before at the beginning. Jonathan,
a couple people in chat actually brought him up, by the way, but keep going.
But he's a good leader. He's a good strategist. He does not underestimate or overestimate a single threat, and he's got a decent design, and he's just fun to watch. I mean, he had good voice actor and all that stuff. It was just, he felt competent, you know, like, because we had been seeing. I remember at the time when G8 was, we had seen a lot of basically Luffy and Zoro and Sanji were taking care of business, like for the most part, unless Sanji was preoccupied, Zoro was half dead, and Luffy was underwater. There was no problem. You know what I mean? So, like, it just felt like, okay, wow, this is actually running rampant. And also, you were talking about the humor before. There was humor in this arc. We had some fun scenes.
Ooh, Bakar, that's a good one. She's bad. Keep going. Sorry.
But just that kind of stuff. I just think that Jonathan is where we haven't fleshed out. I think Miles brought it up before. Like the Marines are not fleshed out enough and stuff like that, or maybe Alan did. You know, here's a character that's already semi-fleshed out. If you watch G8, if you reintroduced him into the story, it wouldn't feel that contrived, and you could just say, hey, here's Jonathan. It's like, we have all these Vice Admirals, and other than Garp, we know fuck all about the rest of them. You know what I mean? So...
Daddy plus
That's why
Carol
Zephyr needs to be
Lockdown.
canon too.
Just got a question. Isn't Daddy the father technically something that Oda wanted to do? He just didn't have time or something like that. Am I wrong with that?
Yeah.
Daddy Masterson. Sorry, I think his name is.
Yeah.
I think he's actually isn't he technically canon? I actually haven't really looked into that like that. I think so. But
I don't know.
Maybe
but
I'm
I
wrong.
do know he wanted to include him and didn't have time. A lot of apparently basis for the early fillers was Oda's scrap designs that he didn't have time for.
Okay.
From what I heard.
Pat, Did you go? And Alan, I know you're still there. I know you're asleep, bro. You there?
I actually really like Douglas Bullet
Okay.
No, I'm still here.
because it kind of feels like it's the same thing with Zephyr. Like he's not a canon character, but like he would fit in the story seamlessly. So if there would be no reason for him not to be canon.
Raoul from the bar.
And then like his power structure, like the way he was able to join his devil fruit with his hockey, where there was like, oh my god, how can he be so huge but have hockey covering that whole fucking thing like that? Because he was awakened, he fucking coated his fist in hockey. It was like a different tint of blue. He was a conqueror's user. And nigga was like, yo, bring the fucking Buster Call. Like, I think that's the first time in the series where somebody was actively seeking a Buster Call.
He's like, yo, bring that shit.
Yeah, right. It was like, I'm gonna crush that shit, and I'm gonna show y'all why the Yonko that y'all dealing with, they nobodies. I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Now, Luffy beating him in the movie was kind of cap.
I've always said that.
Beating most movie villains is cap.
No, in a weird way. Bear with me. I still think it's egregious. Like if it happened like now or at least New World, it'd be better. The one that I could see is Shiki only because his fangs would have dulled for 20 years, and he doesn't fight the same. He's a swordsman, and now his swords are his feet. You feel what I'm saying? So I could see him being a lot weaker. I still think pre-time skip Luffy beating him is obviously still cap, but that's fair though. Because even him being Zephyr, I'm like, bro, you're not beating a guy who trained the admirals and whatnot. Like, you at least need Gear 4 type beat. But yeah.
Luffy was holding back on that man.
But yeah, I feel that. I just wanted to see what you guys would say. But all right, any final comments for the people, friends?
Oh, I just wanted to quickly say one other thing that I had forgotten about Jonathan is that he could come back into the story because of the whole Green Bull insubordination, being a Sakazuki fanboy. But Jonathan was introduced as his protege back then, so it would be. But he has conflicting morals. He follows he doesn't follow absolute justice and that kind of thing. So you could have this great little thing going on, the dynamic in the Marines right now. You could have this thing where the fanboy admiral is going off and doing things on his own and stuff, and then it's like the protege who also went against, and there could be this thing with Sakazuki being conflicting. It's like, this guy loves me, still doesn't follow what I want. Fujitora agreed with me, still went against my stuff, and even my own fucking protege Jonathan does not. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a bit of a It'd just be kind of cool to me. Once again, so many characters, you could flesh them out for days. So
I feel it. But all right, thank you guys for coming for the pilot episode of the Baroque Works broadcast. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you liked it, I think what I will do though, for like the next ones, like at some point at the end, or maybe like I'll take like questions from the comments or chat or something. I'll try to find a way to set it up so you guys can ask me stuff. And if you want to suggest any topics, and I am going to at some point for the next one, I'll always throw in like a matchup, an interesting matchup, because I'm not anti-power scaling. I'm just not going to spend the entire stream and my entire life talking about that in One Piece. I don't mind doing it. So like a matchup you think would be interesting for us to talk about, feel free to tweet at me and stuff like that. So yeah. But you guys take care. Let me know what you thought. And when I post it on YouTube, hey, go and drop me a like and a comment. Do me a favor, all right? Wait, show you the full Robin picture? Oh, I got you. Look at you guys. Horny. Them yiddying, huh? I mean, I'll post a picture in the Discord so you guys can see it after. You guys, y'all be safe.